Ken Mad Hatter says, bring it. You ready?
Des dropped the ball.
That's the end of the show, everybody. Good night. Have a nice night. See ya. This is Ken, the content creator. My name is Jeff Bates. Dole Whip Dad is this channel every Sunday night on my channel. Creator Talk Live, 10 o'clock my time, 11 o'clock Eastern time. That's right now. I'm me. That's Jeff. I'm Jeff. That's Ken over there. Ken, the content creator. It's amazing how lucky you were to have a last name, the content creator. How did that work out? That's insane.
I think I may have made that up myself. But
okay. Yeah. It wasn't from your family. Let's say hi to everybody in chat. We will get going. Mad Hatter, first one in here. As a Disney guy, I saw the Mad Hatter, and he said bring it. So I had to put him up on screen before the show even started. BGG Grooming in the house. We're going to probably have more than our fair share of beard jokes tonight. Let's see. Wish I could stay for this, but I'll watch the replay. Oh, BGG, I didn't realize. Mark Brown, I heard a rumor that you know what football team to root for. I'm glad you're here. Nick H in the house. What's going on? Bearded Vato in the house. You know what? I'm from Southern California. I had more than my fair share of people yelling Vato. I don't know why I'm saying fair share a lot tonight, but whatever.
There you go.
And
Mark, you know I love you, man, but no.
Whatever. Destination Timeshare in the house. I'm glad you're here. Every Sunday night I see you, and I appreciate it. Who else is here? Nico the Greco's here. I hope I said hello to you. Vato, my favorite brother. I like that. I don't know why. Is it disrespectful to make it sound like that? Because I've always done that, but the world has changed. What I think is fun now is sometimes people get mad at whatever. I like Speedy Gonzalez too, and nobody likes him anymore. Are you old enough to know who Speedy Gonzalez is, Ken, the content creator?
Absolutely.
Yep. I'm a fan.
I guess the question is, how old do you think I am?
I don't know. I didn't give it any thought. I would go, well, okay, I have evidence that can demand a verdict. I would say by the things that we talked about pre-show, you're 37.
I just hit the big 4-0 last year.
Oh, dang it. That was pretty close. Come on.
Yeah.
William the Unknown shout out. This is so interesting. Thank you. Pass Older Pair, one of the members of my channel, showing up in green with emoji abilities in the house. What's going on? Pete McDevitt, my buddy's here. Kelly from the Mickey Bunch is here. Chris Dye is here. I'm here. Ken's here. Ken, we've got some news. You want to talk news first? The Santa Dad sneaking in real quick. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's up? And what's up, everybody? Appreciate you guys.
Bob and Kelly in the house. What's going on? We're going to talk a little bit of news, two interesting topics tonight, and then we're going to talk about Ken, the content creator, how he got the best last name ever for a guy who wants to create content, and why the beard, and why YouTube and all those things. But first, let's start with TikTok. You on TikTok, Ken?
I absolutely love TikTok. I know you're not a fan.
I'm not a fan. I'm not opposed. I know you're on, and I think you're having success. I'm going to read this article, and I'm going to do my best to not share my disdain for this move so I can hear why you love it. If you do, I don't know if you do. Let's hit it. You know what? Let's share the screen. How about that? We share this out. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Look at that. Buttons, pushing buttons. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. I feel like I'm yelling. TikTok's upping its video length to 10 minutes. What and why? I can tell you why. It's free content for them. Let's read along, shall we? In a statement, a company spokesman said TikTok hopes longer videos will unleash even more creative possibilities for our creators around the world. We're always thinking about new ways to bring value to our community. That's me not believing them, and enrich the TikTok experience. I definitely believe that. The phrasing there is interesting, this article says from TubeFilter, because it's not exactly clear if or how longer videos will enrich, in the literal sense, TikTok's hundreds of millions of video makers. Creators, you. Hank Green, who spent the last month dissecting issues with TikTok's creator monetization, left a succinct comment about the platform's new plans. And just to be fair, I agree with Hank Green's opinion on this. A TikTok spokesman confirmed, you can see in the tweet here, confirmed everyone would be getting 10-minute videos on TikTok soon. Today, we're excited to start rolling out the ability to upload videos that are up to 10 minutes, which we hope will unleash even more creative possibilities for our creators. You can see Hank Green's comment on the bottom, which I agree with totally. Make a 10-minute video and do it for free. For those unfamiliar with the difference between monetization on TikTok and YouTube, here's the gist, and I apologize for the long read. I know nobody likes to be read to, but I think this is important stuff. YouTube runs ads on creators' content, so it pays them a little more than half, 55% of the revenue earned by the ad views that those videos generate. If a creator makes a 10-minute video and there's a pre-roll ad and there's 2 mid-roll ads, that video gets 10 million views. They'll be in the money, dollar bills. TikTok, though, runs ads on videos. It runs ads. I'm sorry. TikTok, though, doesn't run ads on videos. It runs ads in between them. That means individual creators cannot be credited for generating specific numbers of ad views because you're not getting ads on your creation. Instead of paying creators based on the ad views, TikTok appears to divvy up its $200 million a year creator fund based on video view count. So you can see why that would be a problem when it comes to a 10-minute video. There's a significant difference between TikTok paying 2.5 cents per 1,000 views, which is the author's CPM, on a 20-second. We'll just talk about it. On a 20-second joke review of Taco Bell's latest menu item versus TikTok paying 2.5 cents per 1,000 views on a 10-minute video essay. Blah 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 blah. TikTok is courting the longer creators because it's content for them. Ken, what do you think?
So I've done a few TikToks about this topic. I don't have the 10-minute, last time I looked anyway, I don't have the 10-minute video yet. I'm not able to do it. I don't know that I would. Here's my issue with the 10-minute video on TikTok. Number one, TikTok was created and TikTok became popular because of short content.
Yes.
People want to get in, they want to get their short burst of entertainment, education, and get out, move on to the next video. And I won't lie, I've become the same way on TikTok. And we could talk more about how it's made me a better long form creator and all that. But anyway, staying on topic, I'm not a fan. I can't say that I'll ever do a 10-minute video on TikTok, although I truly believe never say never. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't know why someone who was on both platforms would put a 10-minute video on TikTok, but I can see why someone who's not on both platforms, and by both, I obviously mean YouTube and TikTok. For anyone who's new here and welcome in, I see a few names that are brand new. Welcome in, guys. I think Nick said, Nick H says, hey, first time here. What's going on? What's going on? I'm glad you're here, buddy. Lori Jean, you're in the house. What's going on, my friend? I'm glad you are here. Welcome back. So I don't care where you create wherever you want. I think there's no rhyme or reason in the beginning as a creator that you should even bother worrying about where you're creating, because it doesn't matter in the beginning. You're just trying to create content and have a little fun and maybe build a following. That said, if you want to get I like YouTube for a lot of reasons. I love the algorithm. I love its ability to share out content. I love that it's owned by Google, which means it ain't going anywhere. I like a lot of those things, but most of the reason, in my never so humble opinion, content creators like YouTube best is the monetization policy. It shares revenue. I'm a big fan of the thank you economy. Is it Seth Godin, I think, talked about that first? I might be wrong about that, but I like free content that you pay a little extra. I like the tipping mechanism. Think of us like a waiter or a waitress. I just went out to dinner tonight. Our waitress was so fun. She was cute with my kids. She was fun with my wife and me. And we tipped her well because she gave us a nice experience. Now, we had to pay for the meal too. The meal wasn't free, of course, but right. I like that. I like that if you like the content, it's free. It's here for you. But if you want to consider yourself kind of a super fan or whatever, you can drop Ken a super chat. This is my stream, but you know what I'm saying? You could become a member of their channel. You could just watch their videos. You could share them out. I think that you can, for free, enjoy the content, but if you want to go another couple extra levels, you can say thank you that way. I like that a lot. I think that it's somehow people believe that all roads lead to the same bank account, and they don't. TikTok ain't paying anybody anything. Now, if you're 19 and you've got hips that don't lie and your abs are amazing, I suppose there's a place for you there. But I find the TikTok monetization disconcerting. And anybody who's sitting there going, oh, he's all about money, money, money. No. I think that there'll be better content where people are being compensated. And I think it's the dopamine of the views. I think that their algorithm over TikTok is amazing. I've talked about this before. I think the algorithms over there are spectacular at getting you to swipe, but that the length of the videos ensures you're never going to make a lot of money over there. And they don't even monetize that way anyway. So if there's only ads in between, if Ken doesn't get credit, if Jeff doesn't get credit, if the Santa Dad doesn't get credit, if Bob and Kelly don't give credit, you're giving them free content. Now, if your goal is just to have a good time and have fun and maybe build an audience, TikTok is the way to grow. And the argument seems to be, and Ken, I really want your opinion here.
Yep.
The argument that I hear the most, I had my good buddy on Dave a couple weeks ago, and his argument was, and everybody's argument seems to be, but what about sponsors? So
Yeah, I mean that's where TikTok is really good. The Creator Fund is exactly what the article said. The Creator Fund pays in a way that, if we're talking about money, the Creator Fund pays in a way. I mean, people don't make a lot on Creator Fund. You make more, so when you go live, people can, donate gifts directly, stuff like that. Most creators make more that way.
Sure.
Sponsors are where it's at. Businesses are really starting to lean into TikTok to get out there because of that algorithm. The TikTok algorithm, I can't even speak. It's too late, Jeff. I can't talk. The TikTok algorithm,
we'll call it algo,
is fantastic for pushing videos out. Now, the trick to that though is that you have to hook somebody quickly. You have 3 seconds to get the viewer's attention. 3 seconds. Now, the other part, and I got to say real quick, my wife is here. She's my biggest fan, biggest supporter. So I know she's busy upstairs.
Sorry, I'm late at trying to juggle several things at one moment. What? Are you like, mom or something? Mrs., I'm glad you're here.
Now here's the thing with views, right? The way that TikTok, and this is well published, the way that TikTok kind of judges the success of a video, if you look at a 15-second video, a 30-second video, or a 1 minute or longer video, right? For a 15-second video, the entire video needs to be watched before they consider that a successful video to push further with the algorithm. A 30-second video, 75% needs to be watched. And for a 1 minute or longer, 50% of the video needs to be watched. Now, I don't know how many people on TikTok are going to watch a 10-minute video. I don't think that I've ever even watched a 3-minute video. I'm sure that I've watched several 1 minute, but TikTok is good on the short. And now going back to the sponsors, like you were saying, yeah, that's where the money's made. I mean, companies are hiring people to make TikToks for them, or they're sending products to big creators on TikTok to make videos for them. That's where the money's at if we're talking money.
I think that that's clearly correct, that if you're trying to get paid, you got to be entrepreneurial on top of the content creation. I just don't deep down believe, maybe I'm being arrogant or ignorant here, that most of the creators think that's the way it is. I think that they incorrectly think they're just going to start getting a check from TikTok because they're going to hit, I think they equate 1 million views on TikTok to 1 million views on YouTube. And Roberto Blake, I don't know if you guys know Roberto Blake. You should. If you don't, if you're a creator, you should. He did a pretty neat essay on, it's not attacking TikTok or TikTok creators to say that all views aren't the same. All views aren't the same on YouTube, but they're especially not the same on YouTube versus TikTok. I don't,
right.
People think, I mean, you even said, think I don't like TikTok. I don't, I guess I don't, but I can see the appeal. I mean, it's that dopamine drip of getting a whole bunch of likes, right? But like, if you're watching, like I'm sitting there at the holidays and my daughter's sitting on their phone and they're scrolling. I don't know what it takes to count that view, but well, let me tell it this way. You know, 2 of my older daughters, both are on TikTok. That one's got like 7 videos and one's got like 12 videos, and they both have massive view counts. And I think it's that feel good thing, but where does it translate into value to the creator? I don't know. To me, I don't know why I would put something there and not here. Now, the argument is to build an audience to have them come over to YouTube. That makes sense. But what was your impetus for going over to TikTok? Sell me on why I'm wrong, or what value it brings to you, or whatever, for the audience and for me.
I mean, when I first started TikTok a couple of years ago, it was, first of all, this came for a mid-30s guy that said I would never be on TikTok. I think it's stupid. I said that for so long.
Oops.
And I still won't let my kids look at it because there is a lot of stuff that I scroll past.
A lot of abs and hips. This is a while ago, but that's what my Instagram feed seemed to think I wanted to see, at least for a while.
Yeah, it's still, I mean, it's still that way. And I'm a family-friendly person, family-friendly channel.
I try to be.
All that. So, and I only say that to say there's a lot of stuff I scroll past, and I will not let my kids have TikTok. The reason I got on TikTok though at first was to sort of, try to find new audience to maybe come over to YouTube. I learned pretty quickly that that's not really how that works.
Pretty hard to get people to leave the platform, Joe.
Absolutely. There's people that TikTok is their preferred. That's all they look at. There's people that YouTube is preferred. There's people that are only on IG. So what TikTok has turned into for me is coaching on that platform, also helping people learn how to make TikToks. And then if people along the way do happen to find my links up in my bio and head over to YouTube or IG, that's awesome. Now I've also been, I'm most people know this. I'm pretty transparent about it. I create my own TikToks and I also create TikToks for a company. So I was hired by a company to make TikToks for them, and I get paid monthly to do that. So that's how big companies are viewing TikTok and the reach you have on TikTok.
That's interesting. I mean, you just gave me another example of how you can create revenue on TikTok, create TikToks for a company. I mean, I run a nonprofit. That just makes sense. There's opportunity there, but that's a pretty rare occasion, right? To me, what I'm trying to say is most creators are just creating and waiting for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, which doesn't exist on YouTube either. I think the people who make money on either platform, I'm talking a lot about money here. It's because it's the topic, but if you're an entrepreneurial type and you're creating content, you're going to find the ways to create revenue. But if you're just wanting to be one of those early creators who hits that pot of gold early on because they get 20 million views, I just don't believe that's out there. But anyway, Chris Dye says social media creators should post at least once a day on each social media feed channel they have, and each thing should be different. So we'll follow like you on all of your feeds. I mean, I love that idea. I love that.
Absolutely. Idea. Yeah, but he's right. Absolutely right.
Pete. I found the pot of gold. The only problem was the leprechaun bit me. It's pretty funny. All right, now let's talk about Twitch. Also money. Now, again, if you're new to the channel, we don't talk about money all the time. But tonight, we do have some money things to talk about. It's just the two topics of the night. And then we're going to get to Ken, frankly, and get to know him a little better. But let's pull up this one. What am I doing wrong? Hold on.
While you're getting there, I'll say real quick. So Santa Dad says, I've never worried about revenue from TikTok. It's a fun space. There's a lot of people that are on TikTok for that purpose. I've talked to people on TikTok because one of my things is trying to figure out people's goals so that I can help them to make better TikToks. A lot of people's goals are just that. A lot of people, they want to spread message about mental health. They want to have fun. They don't care about niches or anything. They just want to have a good time, and TikTok's a good place for that. So.
And no doubt. And hey, Gene, what's going on, my man? Hope you're having a great night. Had a good weekend. And there, again, I don't want anyone who's new here to think this is money talk. We don't talk money every week. But the two topics tonight are about money because it's Creator Talk Live. Well, let's just get to it. So Twitch, this is interesting. And this is something that I'm more excited about. Now, I'm not creating on Twitch. I do have actually I have two Twitch pages, channels, whatever, one for me and one for my work, of which I put nothing on either. But I'm open to it is what I'm saying. Twitch wants creators to have a sustainable revenue. It's rolling out monthly guarantees. I find this interesting. So if you get the screen, it says this, step 1 of 2, claim your offer. You can opt into either one of these. You can also opt out. If you opt out, you'll receive a prorated payment for the hours streamed. Any additional earnings beyond the agreed upon incentive will be paid at the standard rate. Now, this is interesting. If you're doing 40 hours of streaming a month and you want a guarantee, click one of the buttons. You can click 100, 300, or 500. If you click 500, you're going to run 4 minutes of ads per hour. It's a lot. And then you have to stream for those 40 hours. So if you pick the $500 version, for every hour of your stream, they're going to be 4 minutes of ads. I think that's a lot. 1 out of 15. That's a lot. But if you stream 40 hours in a month, they pay you $500. If you want to do 2 minutes, you hit for that button, they give you $100. Let's read the article really quickly and then talk about it. Twitch is instituting a new payment scheme for creators to make monetization more reliable while guaranteeing itself a certain number of hours streamed per month. The company's new ads incentive program aims to introduce predictability into a revenue source that rarely provides it, ads. The program will be available to select partners and affiliates who agree to stream for a certain number of hours while running ads, of course, in exchange for a flat monthly payout. The tool will live within Ads Manager, Twitch's ad scheduling dashboard, blah, 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 blah. If you're already on Twitch and if you're creating 40 hours of content a month. I don't know why you wouldn't do this. Now, I would have a conversation with myself on how many ads I want. Would I really want 4 minutes of ads every hour? Seems like a lot to me, but I guess it depends on your content. Like if you're a gamer and there's openings at about that rate, if your game usually lasts about 12 minutes, maybe you're going to take a break every 12 minutes anyway, that would feel like that might fit into the flow. If I'm just watching, I thought about streaming the UFC last night, but we had some family stuff. But if I streamed the UFC and I was putting 4-minute ads out there every hour, would that work or would that not? It would just depend. So I guess it would depend on your content. What do you think about this? What are your thoughts on Twitch in general as a place to create content? And what do you think about this?
So I'm pretty indifferent on Twitch. I don't have anything against it. I'm kind of like you. I do have a Twitch channel or whatever they call it, but I'd never put anything over there. I don't know the Twitch audiences very well. And like everything else, whether you did 4 minutes of ads or, 3 or 2 or whatever, really your audience would let you know if that's okay or not.
I agree.
Yeah, they would. And hopefully people that make a choice kind of know their audience already. Because I think there's ads already, right? There's already ads on Twitch, so they probably know what their audience thinks. Anyway, you'd have to be careful with that to figure out which time you want to do that.
It seems like a lot. 4 minutes.
I agree.
An hour or 4. Yeah, that seems like a lot to me. But I mean, again, yeah. I think it depends on your ads. Like if you're playing, like I'm not a gamer, so I'm gonna be out of my element here. But one of my grandkids, one of my sons-in-law really enjoys. What's that game? I'm trying to think of the game. It's the shooter game. It's very, very popular. It's been popular for a few years now. You jump out of the plane. What is it called? Fortnite. There you go. Thank you. And when he's doing it, I mean, the games go pretty fast. You could easily drop in an ad every time you end your game, and it might fit the flow. I don't know. I'm stretching on that, but I think what I like about it is revenue for creators is now most people's revenue when they're a creator, it's your extra revenue, right? Like we have full-time jobs. I've got a friend though. She's in the travel YouTube game, and she went from like 2,000 subscribers to I think she's at 25,000 over the past like 2 years, and it's been her only revenue stream for quite some time now. She went really early. This would be somebody who might have been really liked in the beginning, a more steady revenue stream. I don't want to dive into her specifics, and I didn't even talk to her in a while, but it's really hard if that's your only revenue and you're worried about ad revenue. I mean, if you've got a membership that stays regular, that could be a regular stream of income, of course, but I don't know. I like that they're doing this. I think that this is the future of content creator compensation. I think that whether it be YouTube or others, they're going to start to share more of the funds. I think YouTube's model will be followed by others giving out more. I mean, what Twitch gives out compared to YouTube is it's peanuts. But as those other ones grow, wherever they are, maybe they're even platforms we can't think of, I think this way of regular revenue is going to bring a lot of people. I mean, if you're 18 and you don't want to get a job. I don't want to get a job, Mom. I don't want to. I just want a game, Mom. I swear I can make $500. I could see a lot of people getting in the game for that. And when you're 17, 18, 19, 20, you're playing that much anyway, you're streaming that much anyway, gives you a chance to build a real audience, I would think.
Yeah, like I said, I like Nico's comment, you're out of your element. When it comes to Twitch, I'm out of my element. I'm not smart on Twitch. But I love this I say kids, I know they're not all kids, but for the people that are already streaming 40 hours or more, probably a week streaming games. I think it's great for them. It's an extra little chunk that they weren't having for doing what they're already doing. So I could see that even growing, I think.
And I shared with Ken before the show, and I'll share it publicly. My best month ever never hit $500. I mean, my best month ever is a little bit more than half of that, to be very, very blunt. And I'm not asking anybody to share their numbers, but I don't mind sharing mine. I think my highest month was like 260 or 280 or something. And I'm usually nowhere even close to that. So my point is, it's a pretty good chunk of change for somebody my size, I would think. I mean, it's not what I'm doing, but I find it interesting. I like the idea of a more regular. The only regular revenue that I know about would be the memberships, right? And however many memberships have, you can do the math. It usually stays fairly stagnant, but the super chats and the ad revenue, those are very
very
random,
fluid,
variable. Yeah, fluid. Yeah. Anyway, so I like your thoughts on that. What of the two stories, which one are you most excited about, or whatever?
Well, I mean, I guess I'll say the Twitch story. I don't stream on Twitch, and that model would not work for me. Like I'm not going to go jump on Twitch now because they're offering that. But I think for the people that are already streaming that much, I think it's great. Here's what I do think
Nick
about
H
it.
from
I think
California, clearly in the house. What's going on, Nick?
he absolutely is. Yeah. I do think that could possibly set something new for YouTube to think about. And I've said before, and most people that know me know this, I have a goal. I will be at some point a full-time content creator.
Love that.
And if YouTube went to a thing like that where they said 40 hours a month and you get whatever, this is what you do, I'd be all for it. But Twitch is just not something that I, stream on. So,
and that's a perfect segue to dive into you. So you say your goal, one of your goals at least, is to be a full-time content creator. Let's talk about you. Let's really use that as a segue. What is the impetus for that? Why do you want to be a content creator?
It's what I love to do. Genuinely love creating content. When I started creating content a couple of years ago, I started with a beard channel, and that channel's still up. I don't post much to it anymore. But when I started that channel because I had a beard. I was buying beard products, and I was like, yeah, this looks like fun. I never expected it to turn into something I would love so much. And I mean, literally, I know it probably sounds cheesy, but after a couple of years, I realized how much I've got a huge passion for content creation. And not only that, but helping others find the same passion that I have. There's a lot of people that are afraid to create content because they don't want to put their face on camera. They don't think their story is interesting. They don't think people will care. Check all the boxes for all the different things we all say to ourselves as content creators.
Right.
And my goal is to help people get past all that and create content. I believe I say just hit record. That's one thing that I say all the time. And I know that there's other people that say that in different ways. But when I say just hit record, I'm talking, do some planning, get ready, make sure that you have something to talk about, and then hit record. Don't be afraid to hit the button. Everybody's got a story. Everybody has something that somebody needs. And so if you're not creating, somebody's missing out on what you got for them.
Mark says it right there. You're a great coach, teacher of making content. I didn't discover you because of your beard. I discovered you because, well, I don't know where I discovered you, but I know what I liked when I first discovered you is, your story, not your story. That's the wrong way to say it. Your main vibe is you can do this, and I want to help you if you want to do this. I love that. I'm a big, you can do it. Here, you tell me where I'm wrong. I think you're a really positive guy. I think I'm the guy who used to be positive and now just wants everybody to shut up and hit record. You're like, just hit record. I'm like, shut up and hit record. I think that everyone is so much more capable than they admit to. I look at it a little bit as excuse making, where I think you're more about helping them come out of their shell, which I really love. And I feel like I used to be like that.
So Mark is, I mean, outside of my wife, obviously Mark is one of my biggest fans. Mark's awesome. I love Mark being part of my community, but he's great, man. The reason that I have the beard, I'll just say this honestly, the reason that I have the beard is because I'm ugly under this beard. So with the beard, I don't have to worry as much. Yeah, I don't have to worry as much about what I look like on camera. So we take care of that part right away.
I love it. That's my favorite excuse for a beard ever. By the way, Aaron, I thought of you. My good friend is 1, 2, 3, 4 comments down, at least in mine. I think they're not in the same order on everybody's. Pete McDevitt, the Pete McDevitt Show. Pete McDevitt goes live all the time, and he's a sports content creator. He's in the Disney niche, and he's in the sports niche. Aaron, you need to meet Pete. Pete, you need to meet Aaron. I mean, no, not really. Aaron, you need to meet Pete. Aaron, you want to do some things that Pete is doing. Ken rocks. He should have been on here a long time ago. I agree with that. That's what my friend Pete says. But Aaron says, Ken inspired me to follow my passion because of the jump he did. I don't know what that means. I'm going to follow up. I changed my niche, and I'm loving it. What I know about you, Aaron, is, I mean, that's a rough name. It's just the same as that guy who is on all the commercials. But other than that, no, I know you want to be a content creator in the sports niche. You need to meet my buddy Pete. Check out, if you don't already know him, maybe you guys already know him. I don't know.
So what Aaron means by that real quick, because of the jump. So I was doing beard content. That's all that I was doing.
I gotcha. Yeah.
And so I made the change, which is huge, right? I've got a monetized channel with, 2,000 subscribers talking about beards. Obviously to YouTube, that's, who cares, 2,000 subscribers, but for a micro niche like beards,
I mean,
I feel it's one of my achievements.
monetized channels aren't the biggest channels.
Right. Yeah. But I made the switch from doing that. And so, he did the same thing. He was doing some beard. He's done beard stuff. He's done barbecue stuff. And so
barbecue stuff. No, man. There you go. So so in the history of my little career here or whatever this is, I've never had a real beard question other than, are you going to shave that? Where's the just for men? Questions like that I might get. But I got my first beard question on my show, but it's clearly for you. Question for Ken. What is the best neckline guide for shorter beards? I don't even know what that means.
So your neckline, where your beard,
okay,
sure. the low point of where your beard grows. Basically it depends on, so he said short beard specifically. So you want to go 2 fingers above your Adam's apple. Now I will typically say, based on the shape of your face, you may want to go 1 finger. Like me, I've got a shorter kind of jawline. So I would go like 1 finger above my Adam's apple. But typically 1 to 2 fingers above the Adam's apple. So put your middle finger on your Adam's apple, put your index finger above it, and that's where you want your neckline to be.
Huh. So I have said, if you're a long-time viewer of the show, if you're watching on Team Replay or you're here live and you've been watching this for the couple years we've been doing it, don't I always say that you'll always be able to find your niche? If you love a thing, go find your tribe, go find your village, whatever you want to call it. Are these guys not proving it? There's a beard niche, people. I always make jokes about Crocs. I don't like Crocs, but early on we had some Croc talk on the show. You never know. Oh, don't. Oh,
I had to. You said Crocs. You already knew I wore them.
I did, but I didn't know we were going there. I have jokes, but anyway, I'm going to leave them there. But I think that though, you and Aaron and a couple of other people are proving it. I mean, a lot of the people that I respect the most in the content creation coaching game, stress, state, yell from the rooftops, niche down. And I mean, beard talk, it's a thing. How long have you been doing your beard channel?
So my beard channel, ironically enough, it started the month before the pandemic. So it was technically was not a pandemic channel, but it definitely helped me grow the channel. So I started in February 2020 was my first video.
I don't know if this is in relation to your looks under there or not, but Mrs. Coach says, I absolutely love Ken's heart. I hate it when my wife says that kind of stuff. I want her to like my butt, but that's just a whole nother thing. He breathes and glows positivity and support. He is everyone's biggest cheerleader, and he just wants to make his lifelong goal to help as many people as he can. Have you two met? I was really need to get you two.
Yeah, we know each other pretty well. I think we have a couple of kids together.
I love it. And that's a sweet. That's sweet. I'll leave it there. I never would have thought there were channels about beards. I know, right? That's so cool. Aaron, I can't post a link here. I am Pete McDevitt. Yeah, I don't have mods, and Pete hates that I don't have mods. The Pete McDevitt Show. Type it into Instagram, you'll get it. We will find you. Just followed you, Pete. There you go, Aaron. Looking forward to getting to know Ken, the content coach. Much better. Bob and Kelly are my friends. Any opportunity to grow is awesome. Amen. Yeah, Aaron, you want to know Pete. I'm gonna say it again. I want to get off topic too much, but yeah, you guys. Trust me, Aaron, it'll be worth your time to get to know Pete.
Well, let me say I agree with that. I don't know Pete very well. Really, I don't know Pete at all, other than I caught the stream you guys were doing together a couple of weeks ago.
Pete's one of my best friends.
And he seems like a great dude. So I'm looking forward to getting to know him better too.
Yeah. And he's less wrong than you guys about football. We'll get to that though in a minute. So you want to share, you want to coach, you want to inspire. I get it. Why did you pick YouTube? And now TikTok too. And I guess it's a good where else are you they can find you?
So mainly, yeah, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. My website will pretty much take everybody everywhere. That's kenthecontentcoach.com.
It's a great website, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
Do it yourself?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Awesome.
So as far as why I chose YouTube, I mean, regardless of what TikTok is trying to do and anybody that will spring something up and try to build something like YouTube is still the ultimate content creation platform. And again, never say never, but I don't see that changing. I don't honestly don't think the 10-minute TikToks are going to do very well, but I could be wrong.
I don't even have an opinion on that so much as to say that I don't think they're a challenge to YouTube. I think that people go to YouTube for long form, which we didn't call long form content, but now with with TikToks and Reels and all the rest. I mean, the truth is we do hold our phone like this, and that's a big advantage. But I don't know. I think it's a scroll. I think it's kind of like the Ritalin viewer. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but that's one thing. Now, clearly they're going to try with, well, what did they go from 10 seconds to 30 seconds to 2 minutes to now 10 minutes? I think that's been the growth on. I'm not a TikTok expert.
They have
by any
3 minutes. 3 minutes has been for the longest. Yeah.
So let me just ask then, do you feel like the 3-minute videos on TikTok, A, are being viewed for a decent amount of time, but B, as a content creator, is it worth your time to create 3-minute videos over there? I'd really like to know your opinion.
So the first question, I don't know specifically. I don't think I've ever watched one myself, but obviously I'm only one piece of, I'm only one TikTok creator.
Yeah.
I've never watched one. I'm pretty sure. I don't, just judging based on the overall TikTok audience and what kind of videos do well, I wouldn't imagine so, but I don't know specifically.
Because I think I agree with Destination Timeshares. If they drop 10-minute TikToks in with all the rest, people will just swipe by them. Yep. I don't know. Like, I'm the wrong guy to ask, but you watch it until you're not watching it, and then you scroll. I guess if you do an exceptional job of keeping their interest, they're going to stay. But my question would be, why do you care if they stay? You already got the view. Now it's to share the content, of course.
You don't have the view because, like I said, the way the view time is judged right now, so anything over a minute, they have to watch 50% of the video for that to count as good view time. Now, sure, you have the view, but the one view itself doesn't matter as much as the actual view time. The videos that get viewed the most is what the algorithm pushes. So the more people watch your video. So, I mean, you think about 50% of it, they have to watch 5 minutes of that video before, to be considered one of the best performing videos for the algorithm. Here's my thing with 10-minute videos, right? 7 seconds is kind of the sweet spot for a TikTok. 15 seconds is good. I mean, up to a minute, as long as you keep it interesting and you open it with a good hook. But if you think about the numbers on TikTok, there are 1.1 billion TikTok users.
Wow.
This is just people that have the app installed and they watch videos. Of those, it's 60%, I think it is. It's 605 million are actually, they actually create content on TikTok. And an average every day, there's 1 billion videos watched on TikTok. So just based on those numbers and based on what content does well, the 7 to 15 second range, I really don't think 10-minute videos are going to do well. And I agree with Destination Timeshare. I think they need to separate those out.
It makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know what their plan is, but yeah. I would agree.
Yeah.
You told me about your goal. You told us about your goal to become a full-time content creator. What would be different for you then? How would your content change? Not how. When that happens, how will your content progress, change? What will it look like? Hey, Brian, what's going on?
So, man, if I had that much time to create more content than what I'm doing now, I like to think I'd be a content machine.
You are already, my friend. You are already.
Yeah, but if I had that full time, holy man, I would be live streaming probably every day during the week. Some during the day, some at night. Because I don't think we have enough daytime streams. And obviously, I'm working and can't necessarily watch them all. Yeah. But if that is my full time job, I can create during the day also. So I've got plans for group coaching and using live streaming to do some of that. I don't know exactly what that'll look like yet, but that's kind of my, early business plan sort of on a napkin, right?
No, I love it.
So yeah, if I had full-time hours to create, I'd be knocking out all kinds of content.
I think it's a good question to follow up with. And if you guys don't know him, guys, by the way, this is Ken from Ken, the Content Creator. You need to check out his channel. A link is following along on the bottom of the screen right there. Ken, the Content Coach over on YouTube. Check him out and go check out all his other socials too. He's got some great stuff, great website too. Check out his website. It'll point you everywhere. Anyway, I think that consistency is clearly the key. I mean, if I were to coach me, I would say, hey, idiot, be more consistent. I think that's my biggest negative by far as a content creator. And no excuse. It's just life. It's just life.
Yeah.
I know, I mean, I'm not asking you to tell people what you do for a living or anything like that. You do whatever you want on that, but you've got a busy life. You've got a family and kids, and you work, and you are a freaking content machine. I can go on Instagram at any time during the day, and like everybody else, I'm on there 20, 30 separate times a day, and there's almost always something new for me. Not always, but almost always. It's not admirable. It's whatever the word more impressive than impressive is. It's how do you do it? How do you content create, schedule that as it relates to being a full-time everything else too?
My normal bedtime is 2 a.m. That's about on an average night. That's about what time I pretty much, 2 to 2:30. There's nights I get to bed earlier than that, but I mean, honestly, and I always say before I tell this, hopefully my boss is not subscribed to your channel because I don't want him to hear this. No, I mean, I work in one of those,
but not right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still working from home, and I don't see that changing, at least in the short term. I think we've kind of proven that we can do what I do from home, and I don't think they're really in that middle.
I hope. I mean, please don't let this interruption stop your flow too much. But I would like to believe that corporations and individual bosses have seen that their people can be as effective and even more effective, even if they're not getting every second of the 40 hours a week, right? Like to take a brain break, which doesn't mean a nap, by the way. It can be a nap, but just change your subject. It's the best way to get back in a good flow. If you've got 3 different silos of creativity that you can work in, when you lose the creativity of X, you can go over to Y, then you go to Z, and then you're going to be better at X, in my never so humble opinion. You find that now working from home? Because I do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so right here, this monitor that you see right here, this is my work computer over here.
Okay.
So I can just spin around. I work in IT, so I work in one of those jobs where, in IT, it's either there's nothing going on or the world's on fire.
I mean, yeah.
On the days that the world's on fire, I'm not getting much done over here because I have to.
It's only been 3 straight years of the world on fire. That's all right.
Yeah, I mean, in IT,
like those IT people. When I haven't been a corporate guy for very much of my career, but that, I don't know, 2 years or whatever it was, those IT guys were seeing the worst of some of our employees. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Dealing with some stress.
Yeah. I don't, so I don't say, what I do or who I work for, but I work in IT. And I've got a good job. I can't complain about my job at all. But that does afford me some time to, if there's nothing going on over here, I can just spin around real quick.
Sure.
Volume's up. I can hear of teams, or if I get an email or something. So I've never missed anything. I'm still getting, exceptional evals every year. So I'm doing okay.
Yeah. My oldest daughter works for a large company called Bain, and they're worldwide. And they actually just did something pretty cool as it relates to Ukraine that I don't really want to move into right now, but they work from home. She's got an amazing setup at home that allows her to be so effective that, in the 40-hour work week, sitting in front, actually doing the work. It's just like a baseball game. Baseball game lasts 3.5 hours. Well, we're not playing baseball for 3.5 hours. Right. There's a lot of the warm up in football. We get 15 minutes 4 times. Well, we're not getting 60 minutes of action. We're getting quite a bit less than that. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Let me get caught up in chat and then ask you some more questions. Ken, I hope you don't work for a car extended warranty company. Okay.
Fato, I have your phone number and I'm calling you tomorrow, sir.
Inside joke? Did I miss something? I don't know. I need to update Ken on this. 14 dogs at the combine in Indy this week. Does that mean they were bad? You call them dogs so they're bad, or is that because they're from Georgia? Ken does a fantastic job at balancing family, life, work, 2 channels, TikTok, IG, etc. Ken has 20 plus years in the IT field, so this niche is perfect. Man, I think that you really need to get Mrs. Coach's phone number. Like that, you've got a fan there. That's pretty good.
I've got a marketer over here. She's
got a marketer, exactly.
She's on payroll.
I love it. All right, so what do you need to do to get from A to B? And A is where you are now, and B is full time.
Just keep working. There's no shortcuts to growing a channel. You know this. There's no shortcuts to growing a business, a channel.
I do think that people think there is, though.
There's not. I mean,
I think they think the algorithm loves somebody else and not them, and if they just get lucky enough. But you're totally right. It's
the algorithm. The algorithm is a computer. That's it. The algorithm doesn't love you or hate you.
The algorithm is a truth speaker. The algorithm is telling you how much others are consuming your content. That's all.
Right. But that's just it. Work. Staying consistent. And you mentioned consistency a second ago, and consistency, I'm of that group that believes that consistency is one of the number one ways
Yeah.
to, either succeed or fail in doing this. But I also think that there's a lot of people that hear the word consistency, and they think that that means that I have to post. I have to do it once a week on Thursday at noon, or twice a week, Thursday, Saturday at noon and 2, whatever. Consistency means definitely putting out regular content, but not burning yourself out, because that's even more dangerous. And I also believe in I almost said it wrong. I also believe in quality over quantity. So I could put out videos every day and be consistent, but if those videos are no good, then it's doing me no good anyway. So yeah, but work hard, grind, keep doing what I'm doing, keep improving on what I'm doing. And yeah, there's no shortcuts. When it's my turn, it'll happen, but it's not going to happen before then.
I agree with 99.9% of what you said. I do think, though, there are shortcuts. And one of them is getting to know people like you. And I mean that. I'm not just kissing your butt. If new creators would listen to you and Sean Cannell and Pat Flynn and Roberto Blake and the Niman brothers earlier in their creation journey, they would make less mistakes, which is a nice segue for me to ask you, what would you do differently if you were starting your first ever channel today? For anybody who's in chat, who hasn't started yet or is about to start, I can give you 100 mistakes I made, and what would you do differently, or what advice would you give to a brand new creator?
What would I do differently? I don't know. I've been asked this question before, and I really don't know. I was lucky. I mean, I was blessed in the beginning to meet a couple of great people who understood YouTube very well. Dan C. Bearded, for all you guys that are talking beard content, Dan C. Bearded, definitely check him out. But he is somebody that understands YouTube, understands the work that goes into this, and understands, things like no shortcuts and don't buy subscribers and blah blah blah. Unless you know people at YouTube, I don't know what that means, Nick. You may have to clarify that.
I'm assuming he's talking about, I mentioned some coaches. Like when I say there are shortcuts, I mean it. I'm being a little funny because of what he said, but I do mean it. Here's a shortcut. Get to know Ken, follow his channel, listen to the content. He go live every week just stream with me. If you haven't streamed yet, like when I discovered you, I'd already streamed a bunch of times,
right?
But I still really enjoyed the content. It wasn't like I'm not somebody who needs to be talked into being comfortable on camera.
Right.
And that first night that you were talking, that was one of the main topics you were talking about. But I still saw the value in your content. And, you gained a fan from me that first night because I don't know. How do I say this? If you follow, we all need mentors. I wish I had mentors in my various work careers earlier than I did. I had some great in some and some not so great in others. But we're all going to follow what we learn. And the hardest thing to do in anything is to unlearn the mistakes. So listening to Ken, Roberto Blake, Nick Nim, and Sean Cannell, these people are people who are in his niche that are teaching the content creation game. And I see that being extremely valuable. Don't watch Ken to do what Ken's doing or Roberto to do what Roberto's doing. Watch them to learn from their mistakes so you don't make them. Does that make sense? I don't know. I feel like I'm blabbering a little bit.
No, it's absolutely important. So having somebody like Dan when I first started, I'm lucky. Yeah, she's my agent. Yeah, she tells me that all the time. I'm lucky to have met somebody like Dan right away. Now, me and Dan are great friends. We talk.
Dan is the bearded, yes.
Dan C. Bearded, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Because, like I said, he understands how YouTube works, and so much into that conversation. But now we're great friends. We talk every day. No matter who that person is for you, even if it's not my channel, even if it's not me, make sure that there's somebody that you are, trusting. Have a close circle of people that you trust that are going to give you criticism. I don't want people that are just going to tell me, "Oh yeah, that was a great video."
Pete, I don't know if Pete's still here, but I have a few, but we talk on the phone, and I believe he's keeping it real with me, and I'm keeping it real with him. Not my favorite term, but if you love somebody, you're going to tell them when they got a little something right here, right? And what's more valuable than somebody that's doing? you're kind of doing life together in the sense of this is our hobby. For me, my words. There he is. Pete is in the chat. Wouldn't you agree, Pete? I mean, to have somebody like Pete in my life that I can say, hey, I thought this, but I'm not so sure. Or what do you think about this? Or man, I've been doing this, has been working. Or man, this has not been working. That kind of conversation for me is huge. And, you know, I think anybody would be lucky to have Ken, the content creator, or some of those other people I named early on. But again, to segue back, what would you do different? It sounds like, well, I'll shut up. What would you do different?
I'm always terrible at answering that because I don't know that I would do anything different. I would probably focus more on, I'll tell you one thing that I've changed that I do different now. I make my thumbnails before my video. I do my thumbnails first. And the reason I do that is because I've come to figure out.
You already know what you're going to say, right? You already have a plan on your video, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've already got, you know, my video, you know, kind of mapped out, outlined. I know what I want to talk about. I've kind of found for me, I don't know if this works for everybody, but for me, if I do the thumbnail first, it kind of inspires me for more of the tone of that video.
Interesting.
And the thumbnail is one of the most important parts of the video, if not the. Obviously, the content is king, and the content has to be something
on
people
YouTube. I'm not reading the titles. I read the titles that the thumbnail gets me to notice.
Right, absolutely.
So of course, it's the most important thing.
Yeah. So focus on good thumbnails, and this is all stuff that I talk about all the time. But that's probably what I would do different. I would focus more on stuff like thumbnails and titles because that stuff is really important. Again, I sort of came into YouTube with the understanding of making videos and doing stuff like that. I've gotten better, and I still have a lot more to learn, even myself. I don't think there is a perfect content creator, but I would definitely do that. Like I said, I'm
a peripheral guy, so there might be one, but he's not teaching YouTube today.
I just, like I said, I was lucky when I first started to have, you know, made friendships with people that give you great advice and tell you if something is bad and not just tell you everything's great.
Yeah.
So
the best kind of friends aren't going to tell you everything's great when everything's not great.
Right.
That's a hanger on, not a great friend.
Yeah.
Well, and I do want to, well, listen, there's been some in the chat, some football talk, and I need to share. Pete and I over on Pete's show do a show every Thursday night called Inside the Huddle. If you're a football fan, a bunch of you are, you need to get over there. If you like me telling other people they're wrong about their teams, like I'm about to with Ken, it's a good time. And we just talk football and hang out. It's a lot of fun. I'm not a guy that goes to a bar, but I picture it. I mean, I very rarely am that guy, but if I am, there's a good football game on, and it's that kind of stuff. It's just guys talking about the draft is coming up. We're football nuts. So please check out Pete McDevitt's channel and especially the Thursday night show. And I'm putting some more sports content out there too. Well, and there you go. There he is again. Mar, you didn't kill nothing. What are you talking about? I killed this for you. No way, Mar. Love you. Thank you for being here. Pete says we have great conversation. I've learned a lot from Jeff. Thank you. From the time I started. And I think I've shared a bit of wisdom all the way with him. Absolutely. I still don't know much about this Casey Nightingale. He's referencing Casey Neistat, my favorite vlogger. Pete and I have these great conversations, but one of the things, well, I've been wrong about stuff that he's fully proved you can do, even though I didn't think it was the best way to do it. And I mean, I can tell you why. I actually don't think I was wrong on much of those. I think he just was so good at the consistency game, at the quality game, that he smashed through that wall anyway. But maybe I was wrong too. I play around with thumbs and covers on IG Reels. That's cool. I create my thumbnails first, says Aaron. Ken got me on the beginning about thumbnails. Thumbnails are so important. Again, what the heck are you looking at before you click a video? The answer is a thumbnail. We should spend, lots of people have said they spend like as much time on their thumbnails as their videos. I know Mr. Beast does. You don't know who Mr. Beast is? He's probably the best creator going right now. I don't even watch his content, but I listen to his coaching. That's for dang sure. But he talks about thumbnails, and they're changing out. Do you ever change your thumbnails? Do you ever play with the thumbnails? Do you ever do any A/B testing? Is that something you do?
I do all the time. Sometimes, you know, if there's a day, you know, I talk about burnout. A lot of creators will, because consistency is so important. You know, creators will have a day where they just don't feel like creating anything. And I always tell people, on those days when you don't feel like creating something, go to your channel, sort your videos by least viewed, and pick a video and see if you can make the thumbnail better.
That's such good advice.
Yeah. Change the thumbnail, change your tags, see if you can do something to make that video. You'll be surprised at what changing a thumbnail can do to make a video all of a sudden take off.
That's so good. You know, I've heard so many people say, well, this is really a good video and nobody's watching it. And you just said it. Change the thumbnail, maybe even change the title, but certainly the thumbnail. Brilliant stuff. See, people, go over check out his channel and his IG and all those things. Nick H says, hey, me, you have memberships? I do. Thanks for asking. If you're interested, just click on the membership tab. I always appreciate that. My first time here, Nick, I appreciate you being here. I'm on my iPhone, so I can't look it up. Yes, I do. Yeah, I guess you can't do it from your phone, huh?
Yeah.
I just appreciate you asking, Nick, and thanks for asking. Ken is incredibly right about thumbnails, says my buddy Pete. Quality title that's clean and crisp, and those first 3 hashtags to match make a difference. Yeah.
Yep.
Why are they called thumbnails? You want to take that one?
Why are they called thumbnails? That's a question I've never really looked into.
Well, I think isn't a thumbnail sketch? I mean, I think a thumbnail sketch is basically just a small sketch of a thing, but let me type it in. Yeah.
I've just always noted as thumbnails. I've never thought about, and I'm analytical. That's good. I don't know why have I never thought of that.
So a thumbnail sketch, I just pulled it up to make sure I wasn't crazy. Just Google it. It says thumbnail sketches are quick, abbreviated drawings, usually done very rapidly with no corrections. You can use any medium, blah, 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 blah. So it's like a thumbnail sketch was known as a smaller version of a major work or something. And so I think the idea was to give the person an idea, a window into the video. I don't know that. I just assume that because I know what a thumbnail sketch is, but I might be wrong. I have no idea.
Sounds legit.
I might be fully off on that.
I've just always known them as thumbnails, and I've never questioned why they were called that.
Yeah, Marcia's sneak peek. I can't believe we're already in an hour, and I haven't really talked about some fun stuff. When you were young, did you play sports? Did the linebacker hit you in the head too hard? Why did you have that concussion that made you become the Green Bay Packers fan?
Well, I mean, I was a Packers fan before I played. I did play football in high school, yes.
Most of that was to make a joke that you had a head injury.
No, I mean, I became a Packers fan. I'll go ahead and tell you. Please. I became a Packers fan in 1992 because I was watching the Green Bay Packers game when Brett Favre started playing, and I've been a Packers fan ever since. Yeah. But to answer your question, I did play high school football. I never played high school football at the level. Like, I never had a scout come look at me and be like, oh, we want him to play for us, so I joined the Army, which I loved. I don't mean that as a bad Army joke. I loved my time in the Army, but I was a good football player. I was not a collegiate or definitely a pro level football player. But yeah, I did. I played football.
Good stuff. Well, mostly I framed that question poorly. It was mostly about me making fun of the Packer situation. He's a Packers fan. I'm a Cowboys Chargers guy. So
I caught it, but I'm just good at deflecting that because we don't take no hate over here.
Aaron wants to know, while doing live play-by-play for a game, can you have game audio in the background or will YouTube take it down? Pete, we need you on. Pete, come in. I'll be honest with you. This is something that I don't know the answer to. Everything I read tells me you can't.
Yeah, I agree.
That said, are you into investing at all?
Into investing?
Uh-huh.
You and I have talked. I've sort of gotten into
I thought so. Yeah.
Crypto stuff the last several months. Yeah.
Trey's trades this past week. He's one of the bigger meme. He's really big on GameStop and AMC, some of those meme trades that have been really big over the last few years. And he's got a YouTube channel. And I was working from home earlier this week, Wednesday or Thursday, and the AMC CEO was going to be on. And he played CNBC live on his show. And I have no idea why that is. So here's the thing. Boy, this is going to be a big, long conversation. We're at the end. So copyright is a thing, okay? The laws of copyright are related to, but not the same as what Google/YouTube allows, okay? What Google/YouTube allows creates the copyright claims and or strikes. What is legal to do, yeah, I should bring, oh, you got it, Pete. I'll send it right now. What is legal to do is different than what can be taken down. So I think, like, if I watch the UFC, I'm not going to play the audio, although I can tell you why, because the UFC, I know for a fact, will take it down. If the owner of the content, this is getting a little long-winded, and I apologize. If the owner of the content puts in a claim, you'll get a strike. 3 strikes, you're out, retro included. So if you've got 14 years ago, you did something that now the UFC finds, and they reach out and they have to fill out a form and send it to Google. And then what Google does is gives you a strike times 2, times 3, you're done. No warning, no recourse. But it doesn't make it illegal.
Yeah,
if Ken does a video, and I'm almost done. If Ken does a video and I comment on it, I am not at risk legally not a lawyer, for entertainment purposes only. I'm not at risk of breaking any copyright laws. In America, they're more strict elsewise, other places. But you can get a strike. Ken, you were saying?
Yeah, so I mean, on your first strike, they will give you, they'll consider it it's not a free pass, like the strike still counts, I think. I don't think they take the strike. Anyway, on your first strike, you have to go through the YouTube copyright course. And then I believe they take the first strike away. I need to verify that. But anyway, after that, after you've had the first one, they pretty much say, okay, everybody makes mistakes, go to our course. After that, yeah, it's done.
So
if you
I
get
did
three
a
strikes,
little
you're out.
video. I did a little video, and we did it on the Sunday night show a couple weeks ago. I don't know what I'm talking about in anime, but there's an anime creator who had anime commentary on his channel. And the Japanese company that does the anime, I really don't know what I'm talking about, but I know this part is right, went through his catalog and clicked all the buttons and sent in a bunch of requests. I'm going to have Pete come on real fast. Hey, Pete, what's up? Hold on. Let me finish this, and then I'll introduce you, and then we'll talk about it. And they took down his channel. Gone. Poof. Now, it's a whole long story, and he finally got it back. But this was this guy's full-time income. So, guys, if you don't know, this is Pete McDevitt. He's my good friend. We're talking about football content on live stream came out. I think it was Aaron who asked. So I know for a fact me and Pete have had this conversation. I know for a fact that me and Pete don't even probably agree totally on this one. But, Pete, you do sports content 7 days a week, pretty much. I mean, how do you handle this for Aaron and anybody else in chat?
Oh, first, hello, Ken.
Hey, Pete, great to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Making friends.
Logistically, you kind of got to play with with everything and figure it out. And that's kind of what I've done. I've learned that I can do the NFL and it's not going to matter. They can hear it in the background. Doesn't matter. Major League Baseball, I got to keep it down. I got to call the game because they hit it. NHL hockey, it's hit or miss. It depends on the team. Certain teams are.
But you're talking about claims. You've never got a strike.
I've never got a strike. It's just a claim. I go through. If it comes out, I go through. I clean out what they want out. I keep my video up. It is a pain because when you got to go back and make some adjustments and stuff, because you're losing that any revenue that you would have the potential to attain during that time frame that you're going through that. So it's really hit or miss. The Olympics that I did, I left. When I first did the first one, I was concerned about the game. I wasn't concerned about the preamp beforehand when they were just talking on I think it was on USA Network. They were just talking about the game. So I had some of that on in the background. I stopped for a second to work on something over here and they were just talking in the background. It wasn't more than 2 minutes maybe. And I got the whole thing blocked internationally, worldwide. They came in and killed it. They said it was their content. So it's really kind of a situation.
But wait, they claimed the revenue on.
They claimed it and they blocked it. They blocked it worldwide.
My concern for your channel and for Aaron's channel and for anyone else who's doing sports or trades or anybody, like, again, I use the UFC example.
UFC's paid, Jeff. That's the problem. When you have something out there that you're physically paying for it.
Pay-per-view he's talking about.
Pay-per-view, they're going to kill that immediately because basically you are rebroadcasting something that is being paid to see live.
Yes.
Whereas with something like this, the football, it's on free public television everywhere. The only thing that you would have to do, nowadays, you either have a small antenna and you see a really awful picture that's fuzzy and 1970-ish, or you're paying for some type of server to get it. I think the IOC didn't block it. I think NBC was the one that hit it. And why? They were forcing people to go to Peacock to see stuff, to buy the Peacock app. You could go there, watch for 30 minutes, and then they would say, oh, well, you got to pay for it now if you want it. It's X, or Y or whatever it was. So I think it was more about that, than any restrictions, because I did the rest of the games. I didn't have any of their preamp. I also, just for safety factor, did not allow their in-between game coverage that was sitting there. And I didn't do any of that, and I called the games just like I did baseball, and I didn't have one issue.
Aaron, I went straight to this, if you're interested in anybody else too. Copyright strike basics. So I want to be really clear. Copyright claim, copyright strike. Copyright claim, not that big of a deal. Somebody else gets the revenue. Copyright strike, you might lose your channel. If you get a copyright strike, it means that a copyright owner, Major League Baseball, NBC for the Olympics, whoever, submitted a complete and valid legal takedown request. They physically hit the button and filled it out and sent it to Google for using their copyright protected content. When we get this type of formal notification, we take down your video to comply with the law. A video can only be a copyright strike at one copyright strike at a time, blah, 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 blah. So all of that to say, it depends on the owner's interest and stubbornness.
Well, and here's what I tell people, Jeff. I tell two things, and Ken, you can jump in and tell me, your thoughts on it. But I tell people, first off, don't tick off who you're dealing with. If you're dealing with Disney, don't go on your channel using Disney logos, Disney this, and go on there and talk about all these negative aspects about it and attack them. You're giving a reason for the bear to come out of the cave. Why? Why would you want to throw a smoke grenade in there, get the bear to come out of the cave? If you're going to be doing sports, one, if you're out there doing it, pay-per-view, if they're charging and trying to make money for people to watch it, and you're giving people an alternative to not, you're throwing smoke at that bear. Major League Baseball, if I sat out here and did Major League Baseball games like I do, and then I started doing videos about how it's awful in the strike and started attacking the people, and they were malicious and vicious, and all of a sudden I'm on their radar, they're probably going to come out, in the big picture, we are free media for everything that we are covering that is enhancing and helping to sell whatever product that is, no matter what it is. Tonight we're helping YouTube. We're helping people potentially want to do YouTube, or, you guys have talked about Twitch or, any of the other ones. TikTok, what we're doing is helping them. So the fact that, we're talking about them, that there might be something YouTube-ish in your thumbnail or something, anything like that, we're helping people.
Is there any
the holiday Santa shirt, by the way? Sorry.
No, you're fine. Is there any risk calculation that you consider as it relates to what you put on your stream?
No.
Are you worried about losing the channel? I guess is really what I'm asking.
No, I'm not, because I don't believe I'm doing anything wrong. I am not showing the content at any point in any way, shape, or form. I'm giving my feedback on what's going on, and I'm giving my opinion and reaction. If I was rebroadcasting and showing the content, like if I was showing the hockey content and doing it, yes, then I'm fully rebroadcasting. I'm giving the people a look at. When you're sitting there, there's a huge difference between sitting and listening to some guy in a hat talk about what's going on than a full professional announcer and watching the content. Hockey's so different when you watch it live. Baseball, different when you watch it. Football, different. All we are is basically recreating our own radio of what it is.
Providing commentary on what's going on.
Providing commentary and what's going on. On hockey, when the server that I use right now for my content, which I really love, I have to block out two things. One, I have a white block out where I've put my logo and some other logos and stuff on there on the screen. And the reason I did is because while they're showing the ring and all the players in there, which is great to have because it's real-time updated information, the bigger challenge is there's pop-up highlights of hockey coming on there throughout the thing. It's happening. So those games are still live. I'm not showing a closed game. I'm showing an open game. Can't do that. So I have to block that.
Interesting.
And then when they go to intermission, I have to do the same thing. They go to highlights right up on the big screen there on their website, and I have to block that. So I have a conscientious effort to not show their content so that people, if they want to see it, they can go pay for the NHL or whatever.
Interesting. Ken, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm pretty much right there with Pete on everything. I tend to err on the side of caution when it comes to showing something that is not mine.
Yeah.
One thing I love about Pete's backdrop is that he mentioned, and Pete, you mentioned logos and things like that. You don't have to use actual Disney's logos or anything. You have an amazing backdrop that shows exactly what you're doing with stuff that you own, which is completely okay to show. So when somebody sees you on camera, they know, hey, this guy's talking about Disney or he's into Disney. You're using stuff you own, which is completely legal. That's the right way to do it. Yeah. But I err on the side of caution. I don't show, and luckily I don't do anything on my channel that involves sports. I don't have to worry about that too much. But you also never know. Dan, so going back to Dan C, he did a live stream one time where he does a live stream every Monday night after me. And he was talking about how he was going to have a company on that was doing a beard oil, basically a collaboration with Mick Foley, who was, a wrestler.
Oh, and he is into that. So
I know Mick.
Yeah. So Mick has a beard oil collab with a company down in Florida, and Dan had Mick on his channel on a live stream, and he was going to advertise that live stream show. He just showed a clip from Pawn Stars that starred Mick Foley. He didn't have the sound, didn't have anything at all. He showed like a 10-second clip. And as soon as the stream was over, he had the email from YouTube. We found copyrighted content. It was just a content ID thing.
So that's interesting because you can, like, I'll do a trailer review. Hey, the new Star Wars movie comes out, and I'll play the dang trailer, but I'm reacting to it. And that's
it depends on. So History Channel's like, nope, you can't use our stuff at all.
Yeah, it all depends on who owns the content and what restrictions they've put on, because the parameters of the restrictions that they've put on is what the algorithm uses to find it. That algorithm, while it's grinding and sharing you out, it's also searching for what you're doing, so it understands and then can identify anything that's an issue.
Who wants to take this one for Aaron? And I hope this is helpful, Aaron. Can I get in trouble for having teams' logos in my thumbnail?
Ken, you want to go? I'll go after you.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that logo is owned by that team also, so it's sort of in the same. Obviously, we're talking something different with content ID and copyright video and stuff, but that logo is still property of the NFL and of that team. So yeah.
So when I look at it, yes, and I agree with Ken. It is the property of the team, but again, you're promoting the aspect of that. They're not. I've been doing it now for several years. I haven't had one come back. I use logos. I use Disney pictures of characters and all kind of stuff on all the stuff I do because it's highlighting. If you see my my new Friday night backdrop or the thing we did for Marvel, I had Marvel characters all around. So I know that I'm doing that, but again, I'm not giving them a reason.
Right.
It's when look at the sign behind me. It's lit up. I've got Mickey. Now, of course, if somebody really came to me, well, I just got big ears. But yeah, truth be told, I'm resignating the fact right there that I do football and Disney on my channel, because there's the tie-in of both of those two together where I created my own logo off of it. They could come in if they really wanted to come after me. It was a big thing, but as long as I'm not out there being malicious or all of a sudden I'm making $100 million or something like that, they want to come after me. Yeah. But they got so many bigger fish to fry. Don't give them a reason to. Do your stuff, do it clean, do it organized, follow the guidelines. And, honestly, if they ever come back, do I think I will lose my channel? No. If somebody really wanted to do it, and raise hell, they could. I get a copyright notification all the time on my computer because I have several executive producers that work with me on my channel. One of them films 4K digital content from Disney. He sends it to me. I put it up on my channel. He gives me permission. I highlight and recognize him with links and everything to his channel on my description of my video. I do everything right. When he puts it up on his later on, even though it's adjusted a little bit different, I will still get a notification. This person is using similar content to you. And
really?
And I just clear it off. Just like I'm sure he gets it if it's something that he happened to put up first. I have multiple people doing that for me. I have a person in California now filming rides and shows 4K and for me, for my channel, for our community. I have a person now in France doing it. And I'm sure the same things will come up. But the key is, again, if you're doing anything with anybody's content, if you're doing a video and, you're using a picture from Ken's thumbnail about beards in that body of that video, you should be recognizing, thumbnail assistance courtesy of, your channel, however it reads. Right. If you don't do that stuff, you can really, that's another way they could really hammer you, because technically then you've now gone and stolen somebody else's stuff and now you're using it to do it, you know. So that's another way that you should keep an eye on that.
So
Yeah,
I did a COPPA video a few years ago, and that's the biggest viewed video on my channel. It's the reason I have the show, blah, 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 blah. And I kind of made fun of everyone freaking out. I kind of was the guy who was saying, listen, people, read the whole thing. It's not that big of a deal. I feel like maybe I'm on the other side on copyright. Maybe I'm overly, I don't know, in fear of a copyright. I don't know. I don't want my buddy.
Here's the other legal thing, Jeff. Here's the other legal thing. There are tens to, well, there's hundreds to thousands of channels out there.
Yes.
That do, let's just say sports. I'm just going to say one.
Sure.
Okay, let's just say football. We even tack it down to there. There are tens to hundreds to thousands
of Cowboys channels. So yeah,
that do all kinds of content, that use logos, that do what I do, call that stuff and everything. The legality aspect of it is, in the big picture, YouTube or any other one, Twitch, any of them, as long as you're following the guidelines and trying to follow the rules, they're not really going to, if they go after one, they got to go after all, you know, because any lawyer that's sitting in there, now let's just say we're talking about TikTok and they're coming for somebody for football stuff. Any lawyer, the first thing they're going to do is go onto TikTok and search and find out how many other channels are out there. And then they're going to say, all right, well, now you got a choice. Now you can either shut all them down, or I'm going to cross sue you for discrimination, because you're letting one do and not the other. And that is
they would laugh at that, because you've signed, you've clicked the button that says they have the ability to take away your channel at any time.
Correct. But if they're taking it away, because if they were to take me away from TikTok tomorrow because I use the Cowboys logo, and there's 5,000 other people out there that, you know, because I've already talked with an attorney about this, a very good one. He said there's 5,000 other people using that. He said you can go right back and fight. He goes, now, if you're being taken down because you're up there acting like a clown and you're doing, you know, things about kids or talking language or references or creating, you know, racial, you know, all these things that are wrong on there that you're told are wrong, and you're doing that, well, you bit your own bullet. That's your own fault.
I feel like what you're saying is, if you're doing the right thing, it's going to work out in the end. And I love that attitude, but I know that there are instances where that has not been the case. And you're probably right in that you're not going to get anything, but the part that I don't know that if I agree with is the part that you'd be able to win the fight if it came.
You probably wouldn't get your channel back, but they would have to act on some of these other channels. And when you start thinking about that, okay, what is the one thing that Google or any of these people want? They want revenue.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what they're there for.
They want monetizable content. That was the whole thing
right.
with the Jake
Paul they're there to make money. They
want advertisers happy.
Correct. They're there to make money. Yes. Advertisers, however it is, the whole thing.
Getting rid of one channel, Jake Paul all the way down to me, ain't gonna hurt YouTube in the long run.
You know what, Jeff? You start looking at that and you start adding that up. I'm telling you, it's a lot of dollars. They don't want to lose one penny of it. You know, look at this way. When they're doing a sports game, okay, this is why I know this to be true. They don't want to lose anything. When they're doing a sports game, let's say it's the Cowboys and the Redskins, whatever they're called now, Commandos. Okay, Cowboys and Commandos, and someone out there
stealing that. I'm totally stealing that.
Someone out there is broadcasting the game. They're showing the screen and they're talking and showing the game. However it is, whether it's a mirror behind them, whether it's up there on the screen, whatever. And they've got 5,000 people watching them. It's happened. I've seen it. Okay. 5,000 people are watching worldwide. YouTube picks up on it, and they kill the stream. Now, I don't know whether they kill the channel because I don't want to go there, but I know they kill the stream, right? Shut the stream down. What do you think happens immediately? Because I've seen it happen. I know for 100%.
I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea.
They take every person there that was in that content looking for Cowboys and Redskins or Cowboys and Commanders, okay, American football, whatever, and they shove them right out to another channel. It's called a channel dump. And I can tell you on my channel when it happens. I can see it happening because I'll be having 110 watching, 110, 110. Then I'll go 170 and I'll be like, oh, okay. And then I'll go 240, 380, 360 because they're all just being forced out to another channel because YouTube doesn't want to lose those people in there. They don't want to just kill them and they say, oh, the heck with it, or I'll go somewhere else and look. They push them right to somebody else with the same content.
No,
and
I don't know anything about that stuff at all.
Oh, yeah. And I see it because people even will come into my chat. Wait a minute. I was just on a channel watching the game. Why am I here? Or why aren't you showing the channel? Well, they're showing it. Well, I'm not showing the channel because you're here because they were doing it illegal.
Yeah. Well, I've had that when I've done sports content, and I haven't in a few years, but when I was doing it, I would have people ask weird questions like that all the time. That they would always be saying, not always, they would often be saying things like, well, other people show the whatever, the game or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, we'll go there. But
they all get caught and they all, eventually they all get tagged. And I've got so many subscribers over there now that are people that came over and found me because of it. And I've told them the truth. Here's what it is. This is why I don't do it. This is what I'm going to give you here. Give me 10 minutes of your time to see if you like it. I guarantee you. And a majority of them stay. We've had some that, are just downright ignorant and gross, F you and this, that, and the other. And they're just gone. I just delete them. I call them a donkey and I put them out to pasture. I ain't got time for it. But,
Right.
it is a dump and I can see when it happens. And YouTube's smart that way. They're keep it. You got
people to keep people on the platform, of course. So.
Yeah, you got people in your sandbox. Don't let them over to that one.
Yeah.
Keep them in this
sandbox. Go over to TikTok or whatever.
Yeah, well, there's other ways out there for people to do it. And, I don't mind it, because I know as my heart of heart, I'm doing all the right things. I'm not directly, trying to go outside of it. I'm over labeling things. I'm over crediting things to do the right way, because if you're going to do creativity like I'm doing, where I'm having someone else film the video, I give the person that films the video, the person that edits the video, the full creativity, because I say this video provided to us with permission from and by the person, and I put their link. And I know YouTube doesn't ask for that. I'm sure Ken knows that they like you to do that. They don't beat the horse on that. But again, if I were to ever be questioned, I've got all these things that I say, hey, well, I'm doing all this right. What did I do wrong?
Ken, what are your thoughts? He talked a little bit about trolls. He talked about copyright. What's your 2 cents on that? I
like Pete. I agree with almost everything he says. We have some of the same views on, especially putting donkeys out to pasture. Yeah. So I will say, kind of just following up on the thumbnail thing, I've seen 2 different occasions. Now, these are beard companies, so we're not talking like huge, corporations like the NFL or NHL, but I've seen 2 separate occasions where a beard company had an issue with somebody using their logo on a thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And what happened in those 2 cases, and I would imagine this is probably what would happen in most of those cases, is that they'll send out a cease and desist, which for a thumbnail, that's easy. You can change a thumbnail, no problem.
Right.
Obviously video is different. YouTube has tools that you can edit.
That's no pain at all. That's not a copyright strike. I fear a copyright strike. I don't care about a letter.
Yeah. I was just going back to his thumbnail question. I'm with you though. I'm very careful about copyright stuff, and I'm not doing sports, so I have very little to worry about. I mean, I'm not in that world, so I can see where you'd have to be really, really careful.
Is it possible with that beard company that maybe they haven't figured out what some of these major players have? And I'll just use Disney as an example. Disney realizes that everybody that's out there doing that is basically a free commercial for them as long as they're doing it clean. Jeff, you're being attacked, by the way.
Yeah, there we go. No, in both of those cases actually. So most companies don't care. You can use their logo. I've got several affiliate companies that I create content for, and obviously as part of our deal, I use their logos anyway. And even companies that I were not affiliated with, they don't care if you use their logo. In both of these cases, the creators were basically trashing the company.
There you go.
So
honestly,
yeah, you can take my logo down.
Honestly, the company can't stop you from using their logo. There's no copyright issue there. You're allowed to provide commentary for anything. The issue is they're going to try to scare you into taking it down. I mean, when those companies send those letters, they're standing on not even quicksand. They're standing on nothing,
Yeah, but
I'm not fearful of copyright. I'm fearful of a copyright strike. which is a YouTube policy. The
Right.
laws are on the creator side, as I think Santa Dad said. In America, it's different elsewhere. But like in Japan, they're very much on the corporation side, which is why the anime thing screwed up. I don't know the guy's name, but I don't know. Maybe I'm splitting hairs, but I feel like I hope, Aaron, that was helpful to you and anybody else who was interested in that. But Pete's proven to me that he can live and grow like crazy doing what he's doing. And he is providing commentary. And I do believe lawyer-wise, you're not doing anything wrong anywhere close to illegal, and there's no concern legally. I still say that there's probably some concern as it relates to if a company wanted to send a strike, could be a problem. But I guess for me, it would come down to this. If you're willing to take on that risk, go run. There's very, very, very little evidence that you're going to get hurt, and very, very lots of evidence that you can grow like crazy. But I can show you some stories that people have lost their channels, and some have not been able to get the recourse. So I don't know. I worry what we put out there. I think that it's most likely that we're all going to drive to work and be fine, but there are situations that things happen, and I don't know. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but
I'll finish.
Sound paranoid?
I'll just finish my thought on this. Is that I look at it as I know that I'm doing everything right within the basis of what they said, and you could go out there tomorrow and have a grocery store as your job, and all of a sudden your supplier stops supplying, and you're out of business. So anything can happen in anything. The key is don't tick people off. You tick people off and you do the wrong thing. That's when you give them a reason. Again, don't throw that smoke grenade in the cave if you don't want the bear to come out mad. And if you're out there and you're giving them a reason, like, Ken was saying with that company, they were talking bad about the company. Well, obviously they're going to come back out. If you're on here and you're being positive and
there's a lot of truth
following the guidelines, doing the thing, YouTube and their advertisers, they want to do what they got to do to get to as many people as possible. And YouTube wants to play as many of those ads as they can and make that revenue that they can. And the, NFL and, if you don't think the USFL doesn't want everybody talking about them, God, they're begging for people to talk about them. So, as these things are out there and they're coming around, new businesses, Ken was talking about beard stuff. I know working in the business that I did with some of the stuff, they love the fact that people were out there on social. I sat in a meeting.
Sure.
The J.M. Smucker company used to go on to military bases with me. We did it for about 12 or 13 years, where we would go on and provide to an entire military base J.M. Smucker breakfast, full breakfast, pancakes, eggs, sausage. We're talking feeding 5 to 10 to 15,000 soldiers and their families at one morning in a 6-hour window. And then the next week we would be at meetings and they would be going crazy, showing all the people on social media, showing their product, showing their logo, showing this is great and this is great.
Yeah.
The ones that they said, oh, I'm gonna send a note about that one. The ones that were on here saying, hey, I got this coffee and it's absolutely atrocious. It's hard. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, that guy, I'm going after him because, again, it's not helping them.
But again, that's about copyright law where the creator has all the protections in America. Copyright strike's different. Ken, what's your last thought on this? And then I've got a very important question for Pete, a hugely important question for Pete.
No, I mean, I'm pretty much right there with you guys on. I'm probably more careful than I really need to be, but yeah, because I'm there with you guys. I don't want to do anything that I know is my fault that I lose my channel over. So as long as I'm checking the blocks, I think I should be okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Pete, need you to go back in the Wayback Machine, not that far back, a couple years ago.
When I met her, she told me she was 18.
Playoff game in the golden Lambo. I'm just moving right past that. Des Bryant falling into the end zone. Did he catch the ball or did he not?
Now, the actual catch that really matters, the one that happened, is a wide receiver falling on his back, bouncing on Monday Night Football. That guy wore green and yellow. I believe it happened on a Tundra. But Des, no, not a catch.
You hurt me. You hurt me to my soul. No. Honestly, I know how much you know football, and I'm shocked by that incorrect answer that just flew out of your mouth.
Yeah, it flexed here and hit that. No.
It never even hit the ground. Like, what did it hit too much air?
Wow. I don't
Antonio Freeman says Nico the Greco. He did not catch it, said Aaron. Well, Aaron Rodgers, of course, would say that. I'm not reading any more of these false. This is somebody copyright these people. What the heck?
Okay.
I say.
I gotta do it.
Go, Pack, go!
Yep.
Like, where did that come from?
I've had some great Pack broadcasts that I've done, this past year, especially, just the interaction. It's funny when you deal with the football community, there are games that you do where you're going to get a great audience, interactive, and for the most part, family friendly. and there's teams that you do where this one's going to be fun tonight. I don't know what's going to happen with this one. And it's interesting. The Pack's usually on the good side of it. I mean, we've met a lot of great Pack fans and had some great interactive. I think one of my bigger streams this year, I think we had like 400 live for one of the Packers Monday night games, which was pretty cool. So that was fun.
And if you don't know, we talked about it on the show earlier, but Pete, why don't you give a 20-second plug or so on, your channel, but the Inside the Huddle too. Throw that in there somewhere.
I love Inside the Huddle. It started as just three guys chatting about football that lived in opposite sides of the country to where it's built up now to where it really is a full interactive show that is just like you would see on the NFL Network or ESPN. We talk different, the news for that week. We react to it. We have three people on their dais that interact. I'm the facilitator, on there, just trying to keep it organized. It's kind of like having Michael Irvin there sitting there.
My goal is to unorganize it.
Yeah. So we talk football on Thursday night for about an hour and 10 minutes. We go through about 8 to 10 topics. We have a guy who's been very successful on Instagram as a podcaster who's now transferred over to YouTube.
He was in early. Gene, you're talking about, right? He was in the chat. I don't know. Gene, you still here?
He's the face of the FP network, but he loves the Jets and loves football. He does the Fitzmagic Audible. He'll show up at some point during the stream. I never know when he's coming in, and he calls the Peyton Manning Omaha Audible, which is great. Everybody loves hearing it. He asks a great question and challenges the dais, and then gives him a trivia question, and he's gone. Comes in, makes a play, 2-point conversion, he's gone. So it's just football. It's good talk. Jeff has gotten into some serious discussions. A lot of times probably
only when other people are wrong. That's the only time that happens.
Well, I set up some of those. I look at those topics. I'm like,
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Fired up. I on purpose in the football stream at the end of it the other night, literally on purpose, put in baseball lockout. I had Jeff and I had Walt from Mouse Talk there, and I knew they were both on opposite sides of it, and I just threw it out there. I said, baseball. They're saying blah 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 blah. Ready, go. And I just let it happen. And it was so bad that those two, I think we're going to move over to Jeff's stream and keep it going.
We wanted to do it on Friday, but at Friday's family night, I did it that night, and a couple people came over. It was fun.
If you like football, here's the deal. If you like football and you're a fan of football, here's what I tell you. Come over, 3 things. Check out my lives when we do football. I bring people in that I know that are friends of teams. Like Ken, if you wanted to come in one day and call a Packer game with me, I'd be more than willing. I got to know you here. I've had Jeff on to do it. I don't mind bringing on a color analyst that knows the teams and can watch the game with us. So we have a lot of fun broadcasting lives. I'm going to do the USFL coming up. Why? I don't know. It's there. It's check it out. So we're going to try the first game. It's like
I hope it works. Do you think
I hope so too? I don't. It's like Birmingham against Puerto Rico or something. I don't even know who's playing.
Have you seen the former the former USFL owners are talking a little crap about why are they calling it the USFL? Why are they getting our name?
I'm not worried about the legal stuff. I just want to play football. So we're going to do it. We're going to try it out. The second thing I'll tell you is come over to Thursday nights. The off season, every Thursday night, we go live all the way up to the first preseason football game. We do it. We cover the draft. I cover the draft live. And I bring people in and we watch the draft and we react fully to the first.
I love the draft. It's
a blast. I love going in there and digging into, and we're prognosticating who's going next and talking. It's a lot of fun. And the third thing I'll tell you is, I set up a Discord, which is taking off like wildfire. I just set it up. We already got 170 some people in there.
It's fun
And
in there.
I have segments in there, threads for NFL football, Major League Baseball, NHL hockey. We got things in there for creators to post their content. You know, it's all kind of good stuff. It
is good stuff, and it's fun. And I, just to, throw back at Pete a little bit. I love this guy, and I think that he is one of the most inspiring creators that I know. I know a lot of creators, and proof that if you want to do something and you're willing to learn and grow, I mean, come on, Well,
you did promise me if I was consistent and got to 10,000, you would go and look for my legs. Can you go look for them, Steve?
I have an idea of where to look. I'm pretty sure if I go there, I'll find them. And if you don't know the story, you're gonna have to go over to Pete's channel and figure it out, because he'll tell you when he wants to. Ken, commercial for you. We talked about it a little bit. You go live a couple nights a week. I want to hear if somebody in chat has never met you before, where can they find you? What do you do consistently? What are your names of your shows? That sort of thing.
Well, I want to say first, it was a pleasure to hang out with Pete. I guarantee you have 2 fans now, and me and Aaron Rodgers will be over hanging out in your streams.
Nice.
So it was great to meet you here and hang out with you.
Love it.
Yeah.
Do you like? Let me hold before you do that. Do you like talking the interactivity of the games? Do you like talking about the trades and the rumors, stuff like that?
I do when I have time to keep up with what's actually going on.
Okay. Well, I'll put out the offer
sure.
there. I'll put out the offer. You know how to get a hold of Jeff. If you're interested, we the way we do our dais is it's me, Jeff, and Kelly Myers and the Mouse, who's a Chiefs fan just because Jeff's a Chargers fan. And those 2 are the permanents. And we bring in one new person every week, different. So if you ever want to do it.
Well, they're kind of a rotating group of guys.
Rotating. This week, I got a surprise for you Thursday. So,
but I mean, you're going to see the same. You're gonna see a couple of the same guys.
Yeah, for the most part. But
they're all good guys.
Yeah.
You have a surprise for me
in that one time
as the guest this week. Is that what you said?
Huh? Oh yeah, I got a surprise this week.
Okay.
You'll find out tomorrow.
If it's a Cowboys cheerleader, I will not be sad.
Okay. No, this part he does not look anything like a Cowboys cheerleader.
It's going to be an autographed photo of Dez dropping the ball. That's what it is.
I love Dez. I miss Dez. I mean, it was time to go, but I feel bad that that's what we remember, because he had a pretty good little career for a while.
He had a good career. Yeah, that was just one. How many times did Michael Jordan miss?
Exactly. And I've worked with kids. Not me. I apologize because I want to be interviewing you and Pete here, but
good.
I work with kids, and his story should be a movie. What he overcame off of the field just to get, where was Oklahoma State, right? Just to get to Oklahoma State, and then to get through that and get to the NFL. This is a young man who had everything thrown at him against him, and he succeeded. And I think it should be a movie. I think it should be big time. So I'm a fan. Now, it is what it is. I'll leave it just with the positive. I can't drop the link for Pete, but you can search for his channel on YouTube. I don't have mods. Pete's going to yell at me now that everybody keeps mentioning that. I don't have mods. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Your hat's bumping up and down because you want to yell at me about it.
Look, I did not bother you.
I do not bother you. You do not bother me. You definitely do not.
I didn't say a word about it, It's just one of those deals where everybody has their own means of going about it, and I get it. It's
some people are chocolate, some people are vanilla, some people are right, some people are wrong.
Some people just sit there and go, "Hey, geez, I'm an idiot." I get that. I get that. It just happens.
Ken, what happens on your channel on Friday night? I'm trying to get you to talk about one of your shows.
So we do live streams twice a week. Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, we do a live stream. We'll usually either talk about a YouTube topic, so some sort of a topic to help YouTube channels, or sometimes we do interviews. So, Jeff, you've been there before. We'll do interviews with other creators, and the goal for the Monday night is just to talk content and, help people to figure out something for that night.
That's cool.
Friday nights is just stream with me. So the goal for Friday nights is for content creators who want to live stream, maybe have live streamed a little bit but are uncomfortable, that they can come live on my channel with me, jump in for 15 to 20 minutes, go live, answer questions, talk about their channel, help them get comfortable. I also do channel reviews and content creation Q&A. So Friday nights are more of a hangout kind of thing. Like this past Friday, we didn't have anybody that wanted to do any of that, so we talked about football and cookies. It was just a Friday night hangout.
Was this
Nice.
a second week in a row of cookies? I don't think I was there this week. Maybe, I don't know. I was there for
Well,
cookie talk at least one time.
Cookies always come up because my wife bakes cookies, and most people that are in my chats, they've had her cookies or at least have
Wow.
heard about them. So
Well, I need to be in
Yeah.
your chat even more then, because my belly is proof that I like cookies.
Ken, over on the Discord I have a channel creator thread where people put questions and all that. If you if you do the
I'll
Discord thing,
drop it. Hold
you're
on.
welcome to post your links for those Friday night creator things into there. I
Okay.
have no problem. I'm trying to build community with this Discord and trying to give people all that stuff. So you're more than welcome.
okay,
I'm
I'll catch the-
99.9% sure this is a link to Pete's Discord. I don't know Discord well, but I just pulled it up, so I'm pretty sure that's right. Go have fun.
And Jeff has one question for everybody.
Pete, have you seen my ugly cat?
No, I haven't seen your ugly cat.
So, do you ever sing on your streams, Mr. the content coach?
Do I sing?
Do you ever sing?
Not. No.
You have to be
No.
careful.
Yeah, because you'll hear something like this.
Purple rain,
Oh,
purple rain.
Oh God.
is it weird that I get turned on when I hear that? Is that strange?
Oh my God.
So
And
I'll tell you what I do have. I got a good friend of mine that I've done some streams with him before. He's a company owner,
Okay.
one of my affiliate companies. But this is one of his sayings all the time, and I pulled this from a stream, and now this is permanent.
You don't know my life.
This dude says this all the time, so it's like a joke
No,
now.
he
know my
said, you
life.
don't know my life?
You don't know my life. Yeah.
Is that, I don't understand. What is he trying to say there?
Any way that you can imagine. So like if
Yeah.
I was to give him advice, so he's going to start a radio station on Station Head, right? And if I tell him, hey, get a Rodecaster Pro, you can set it up like this, he'll be like, you don't know my life, and then he'll go buy the Rodecaster. So
Oh my God.
Rodecaster Gold.
it's just one of his sayings.
See, Ken, what I love doing, is I'll get Jeff and he'll start talking, about, how the Giants are better than the Dodgers or something.
What?
What?
Go ahead, Jeff. Just start going. Talk about your Dodgers. And I'll just start every time he says something
What?
Go Dodgers.
What?
and just drive him nuts. Those are fun to do.
Last but not least, I mean, I'm not trying to end the show, but I went way over the time I asked Ken to hang, so I feel a little guilty here now. But I feel like you've referenced professional wrestling a few times. Am I wrong in that?
Have I? Probably.
Maybe. I don't know. Are you a fan?
I used to be a much bigger fan.
Well-
I don't watch it much now.
Pete's
But-
big enough fan for everybody in your state. Pete
Well,
knows people in the industry. When we first got to know each other, he would tell me names. I'm like, dude, I know sports. But I know more professional bowlers than I know professional wrestlers. I don't any idea, but
hold on.
Pete
Let's
knows
make sure. I
pro wrestling.
was an 80s fan of wrestling for years through the 80s and into the 90s. But it makes a difference when your brother wrestled The Rock at the Philadelphia Spectrum. So it's a little bit different. I'm not a fan. I kind of was.
Everything I know about The Rock is Disney stuff. Not really.
It makes a difference when you personally have been pinned by King Kong Bundy and taken the avalanche in the middle of 700 people watching in an arena.
Taking the avalanche. See, I know not of what you speak.
Ken might.
no, I'm trying. So I need to hear this now. You were pinned?
Oh yeah.
Tell the story.
I got to hear this.
Well, my brother is my family and my brother. We own Maryland Championship Wrestling. We've owned it for 23 years. My brother wrestled for ECW. He also did some work for WWE. I have a calendar somewhere from the early 90s where he was being pinned by then Rocky Maivia in the Philadelphia Spectrum as part of the calendar. We have good friends in the industry. I can walk up or reach out to on social media to many people. King Kong Bundy was a good friend. I miss Chris a lot. The Hardy Boys are good friends.
I watched them on TV. Nancy
Yeah,
Jordan.
Lita stopped. Lita was at a show a couple years ago, and we happened to stop into it. She saw my daughter and stopped what she was doing autographs, and walked over to my daughter and hugged her because Lita and the Hardys all stayed at my house when they were nobodies, just coming up learning to wrestle. There's 2 referees right now that are on WWE's roster that one's a female, one's a male, that my brother trained, which is kind of neat. My brother is more into it in everything than I, because he runs the business, but my brother could pick up and call just about everybody and anybody, and they'll take his call. But I was in when it was in the early 90s, my brother, their wrestling shows were doing well. They were drawing 700 to 1,000 people every time they did a show. My father passed away. So my daughter is 23. So it'd been 23 years ago, roughly around that time. My dad passed away of a massive heart attack. And my brother and I were sitting down at the school one night, because my brother had a wrestling school to train people. And he's trained a bunch of wrestlers that have made it. And somehow or another, we got on the topic of, we should put this into the storyline, because I was already working at the shows. I was doing stuff. I was helping my brother and his partner. I handled all the financials for him at the shows. I would make sure the wrestlers were paid, make sure all the stuff was taken care of, that type of stuff. So they put it into the storyline that I was using my dad's share of the company, because my dad was Peter McDevitt Sr. and I'm Junior. I was using that to take over the company. And we created a storyline where I was feuding with my brother. And because I wasn't a wrestler, I couldn't officially get in and fully wrestle. And I never wanted to, because those guys beat the snot out of each other. And they kill their bodies. It's Mick Foley. I could tell you a quick story about Mick at the end too. But so my faction that we built was myself running with, Hey Bearded Pack. That's a cool name. I had King Kong Bundy with me. I had Salvatore Sincere, who was Tom Brandy, goes by Tom Brady. Tom Brandy, he's gone by the Patriot, but in WWE, he was Salvatore Sincere. We brought in guys along the way that spotted in, like Buff Bagwell and people like that were heels. And my brother had, himself. He had Axel Rotten from ECW. He had Balls Mahoney from ECW. He had Stevie Richards from the WWE. So we battled back and forth, and my gimmick was I hit people over the head with a cookie sheet. That's what I did. I would do that. Cookie sheet, yeah.
Mrs. Coach, are you listening to cookie sheet?
Yeah.
Right.
So the ending,
ideas.
The ending of everything, the way it ended was I turned on my faction and supported my brother to help turn the whole company over to him. My brother high-fived me. Yes, I'm in the ring. My brother and them powder out. I'm in the ring doing all this. Yes, yes, because the crowd's happening. Yes, yes, turn around. King Kong Bundy. Oh, boy. And Bundy threw me into the corner, did the avalanche, jumped on me, splashed, did the 5 count. It was, to me, it was
Samson.
As a fan of wrestling who followed, Piper and Orndorff and all those guys from the 80s and everything, and Bundy, to be in the ring with any one of those was an honor for me, for what they do. And they're athletes. I don't care what anybody says. They just do an athletic soap opera. Right. But to be in the ring with those guys was just an honor. And then to have Bundy, do that whole thing as a fan, to be able to do that. Most fans don't get that opportunity, and to be able to become friends with King Kong Bundy, God rest his soul. I used to talk to him on Facebook once a month. He reached out to me when I got sick. It was pretty cool. So, but you said Mick Foley. I'll tell you real quick. Mick Foley was at the Armory close to my house one time. My brother had a show there, and it was a snowstorm, and it was like 6 people showed up. They couldn't cancel it because they had already paid the Armory, so they had to do it. 6 people showed up. Mick Foley went out and beat the living snot out of himself. He was a bloody mess.
Wow.
Right? 6 people. Bloody mess. You'd have thought it was Madison Square Garden sold out. And he came back in, and this is what he said to my brother. My brother was very young at the time of the business. My brother said to him, wow. He said, why did you go and do that? There's only 6 people out there. He goes, whether there's 1 or 100,000, they paid a ticket to see me work. I'm going to give you everything I got. And since that day, when my brother told me that story, I respected Mick Foley beyond belief.
I don't know nothing about wrestling, but I have seen him in interviews and read some articles. Apparently, he's just a great, great man. And
he is. We've worked with him. I sat in a room. Mick Foley wouldn't recognize my name unless he saw my last name. and put it together with my brother. He would recognize me by face because, you know, he knows me from there. But I've met so many people. I mean, I met Eddie Guerrero before he passed, you know, which was absolutely.
Do you know the Von Erichs?
No, we never had any of the Von Erichs in.
I don't know anything about wrestling, as you know,
from
but
Texas, obviously, that's why you know him.
when I took over the organization that I took over, some of the people on the board had some connection and somehow. We actually had 2 wrestling events that I've never told you about, but I don't know anything about anything.
I was in it.
Apparently they were big.
You kind of love this. I was in a car driving to a show, and here was my group. Next to me was the Honky Tonk Man. In the chairs behind him was the Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Duggan. And 2 rows behind them was Moolah and Mae Young. And it was an incredible drive for 2 hours to a wrestling show, did the show, and then took them back to their hotel in Baltimore. It was awesome. I got to do stuff like that. I mean, I got to know Moolah and Mae Young, God rest their souls, before they passed. We brought them in several times where they knew me. They came up, hugged me, gave me a kiss. Good to see you. You know, that type of friendship that my brother, it's a gift that my brother gave me, you know, to be able to be friend. You know, I saw, this is a funny story. So Matt and Jeff were in town for a show here. This is when they were at the height of their popularity with WWE. Amy was there. That's Lita. She was there as their manager, right? And I had just started with my company. So this is about 2000 is when this happened, roughly at that time, 1999, 2000. And my boss came up to train with me. And he said to me, he goes, didn't you mention to me in your interview that your brother does something with wrestling or something? And I said, yeah, you know, I kind of played it off. I was like, listen to that. We were at a hotel, the Marriott in Baltimore, BWI. And my boss, it was just so, I still can't relive this day. My boss is sitting next to me. He goes, man, he goes, that's pretty cool wrestling. He goes, we'll have to talk about that some other time. He goes, I am a diehard fan of the Hardys. Those guys, they kill themselves out there. Oh my God. And he's like, and that Lita, man, beautiful. She's incredible, right? And I said, yeah. I said, those guys, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. We got up and walked out of the main lobby down the hallway to go outside to go to the car. I swear to God, this wasn't planned. Out of a door coming out of the hallway into the hallway as we're walking is Matt, Jeff, and Lita because they were in town, right? And my boss starts hitting me from behind in the back. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's Matt Hardy. I hear him behind me. Like he's whacking me, right? He's going crazy. He goes, and we're walking down. I was like, oh. And he goes, I don't know if I should say I like him or not. Should I tell him I like him? I said, I don't know. I said, let me figure out. I said, I'll say something. Let me say something. So Matt sees me and I see him start chuckling, right? And he walks up to me and he goes, excuse me. And my boss is like this, right? He goes, you got a hug for Matt Hardy? And he just embraced me and we talked. I introduced my boss. He got a picture with him. He said, and as we leave there, he's like, how do you know Matt Hardy? How do you know the Hardys? I was like, it's just part of the blessing. Yokozuna, I hung with Yokozuna. Remember him?
Oh yeah.
I sat and ate chicken and played Madden in a hotel room with Yokozuna. You know, I've hung with Jerry the King Lawler.
I know that name.
Oh yeah, I've hung with Lawler many a times. I drove with his son Brian to several shows in times. I've met Kevin Nash and Razor Ramon. They did promos for me for my company at my national meeting. I had promos come up on the screen where they were yelling at employees in my company as like they were coming together with people like, oh my God, how are they up there? Like they were, you know, yelling, hey, Sanjay, get away from that computer. I know you're behind it right now.
I love it.
You know, stuff like that. So those guys have been, Kevin Nash has just been nothing but, you know, most of these people are truly a gentleman. My brother had in, unfortunately, while I was sick, I didn't get to meet the Four Horsemen, which I was disappointed in. He had all four horsemen in at one time. He also had the entire DX in at one time, which I missed, which I was unfortunate because I know Six Pack from his younger days. I don't know, you know, obviously know Shawn Michaels, but would have loved to have met him. And then the coolest thing, which I really regret missing, but I don't regret it for why I missed. My daughter had a tournament in Virginia and I was away. I went to support my daughter playing softball. Roddy Piper was in, who's my all-time favorite. I'm a diehard Piper fan. And Roddy came in and did his last Piper's Pit in our ring because he passed away like a week and a half later. He had a heart attack and passed away. So the last Piper's Pit is in our family's ring that we co-own with another person. My brother does. And I have a picture in my basement of Piper walking up our walkway, looking back like this with our MCW logo over him that my brother got for me because he knew how much of a Piper fan I was, So I sat with Mean Gene and talked about WrestleManias. I sat in a room. This is the coolest thing. So obviously one of the greatest matches of wrestling. I'm sorry about talking wrestling, Jeff.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm enjoying it anyway.
So one of the greatest matches ever in history of wrestling to me was WrestleMania 3, Steamboat and Savage. Well, I sat in a room at Michael's 8th Avenue in Maryland with Ricky Steamboat, like 6 other guys, while he talked through that psychology of the whole match, and just to hear it right from Ricky Steamboat, himself was absolutely incredible. I've been in a car with the Road Warriors. This is great. This is a great story. So the Warriors came in and I was in the ring doing little stuff and everything. And at the end of their match, I tried to pick up this one girl, right? I'm there, I'm around, I'm not a wrestler. I was young. I hadn't got, I wasn't with my wife yet. And I tried to pick up this girl and she shot me down, right? Completely shot me down. And Hawk was up there on the ring and he heard me doing it, right? and we went to the back, and he's giving me a hard time. And I really just met him, but this is how great these people were. And I was his ride to the hotel that night. And he's giving me a hard time. He's like, you should have told her you were with the Warriors. He goes, I'd let you put on the spikes for 5 minutes to get it, and just stuff like that. It was great. So we're in the car leaving the arena. It was a daytime show. I swear to God this happened, as God is my judge. I'm driving, Animals in the front, Hawk's in the back of my van, my company, nice van. And all of a sudden I hear the window roll down. And I feel it. I'm like, I look over my shoulder. Hawk is hanging out the window, halfway out the window, yelling at this girl, the same one. You should have given him your number. What are you doing? Like that. I just said, well, that's not going to work. That's not going to work.
Friends like that.
There's stories like that through the years of knowing people, and getting to hang out with some of these amazing people. It's just incredible to think about. These are people that performed on top levels as they did, and just to have a chance to meet them. And, a lot of them are really good, down to earth people. I went through the Kentucky Fried Chicken drive-through. Kentucky Fried Chicken comes out a lot because it was at the hotel right across from the hotel where we put up all the wrestlers. I went through a drive-through with the Iron Sheik one time, and he paid with 8x10 photos of himself. We got up, we ordered all this food. It was like $58 worth of food. We get up to the thing. I go to pull my wallet out. He's like, oh, no, Bubba. No, I'm the Sheik. He starts, let me see the manager. Talks to the manager. I'm the Iron Sheik, world greatest champion, blah, blah, blah. I sign autograph, blah, blah, blah. You take care of us. And next thing I know, we got free food with the Iron Sheik autographs. The Iron Sheik was at my brother's wedding. That's how close we were with him. Okay. Oh. And this is a great story too. So
I need to change the title of this show. Were we talking about changing tags? I'm going to totally
tag at the end with all these names. So the Sheik is at the wedding, right? We just finished cutting the cake. Now, granted, Sheik was not in the wedding, but he was at the wedding. And there was a lot of WWE people there and ECW people there that night. And we look over, and my brother just finished cutting the cake. I look behind me. I'm like, what is this freaking ruckus I hear? He had a line of people. He had set up a table and was signing 8x10s and selling them for $10 at my brother's wedding. He had opened up a back door, and the other wedding that was there heard the Iron Sheik was there. It was incredible. So sorry, there's so many things.
Don't be sorry. It's fun.
No, this is awesome.
So Trace Trades, that video I told you about, Ken, I don't think you were here yet, Pete, but I was talking about Trace Trades was watching live on CNBC this interview, and he changed the thumbnail live and he changed the title live. I watched him do it, and it really got my wheels turning. And I totally should. Wrestling chat. Iron Sheik meets Pete McDevitt. I don't know what I'm talking. I can't even.
I'm more proud. I'll say this because if it ever was seen, I want it to be said. I'm more proud of my brother and his success and what he's done in this business. He went from being a young kid who wore Ultimate Warrior face paint at the high school for football games to wrestling for ECW to wrestling for WWE to working on pay-per-views to now owning a wrestling company and being one of the most respected independent wrestling owners out there. He's been successful doing real estate. He knows everybody. Like I called him the other day and I said, I'm thinking about doing some interviews.
I bet he knows some of the people that were in, like, I'll talk off screen, but the Texas wrestling people were all up in my grill.
I don't know if he knew the Von Erichs that well, because a lot of that happened, after he might have been on some shows with them throughout the time. But it's been a cool thing. It's been a great run. Jimmy Snuka hung out with us a lot. I mean, it was,
I know that name. Yeah.
it was just, it's just neat. And there's so many more stories. I don't want to, keep going on, but it's cool to get, if you like that thing and you take it for what it is, it's sports. It's a, it's a primetime sports soap opera is what it is, with well-written stories and athletes that are beyond athletic. You talk about football players, hockey, and all this. These guys do some of the same daggone things they do and more. They're, the Hardys have jumped off of 30-foot ladders. And
the injuries they must sustain must be.
Foley jumped off the top of that cage onto a table, and that was like a 70-foot drop.
Yeah.
I have trouble getting up my stairs sometimes, so I can't imagine doing any of that.
It's unique. My brother became great friends with JR, good old JR that does all the commentary. And he's from Oklahoma out that way.
Right.
And it's so cool to go back and look at all that and realize the people that, he's met, or how many people, the really cool thing is how many people he's trained that are now up there or have been successful, or he's had a part in their career and getting there. Is pretty cool.
I'll say this, Pete, everybody here knows that I'm good friends with you and all, or if they don't, they should. But part of your success, I'm watching you talk about something that you're passionate about that I don't know anything about what you're talking about. Some of those names I've heard of, but the passion you exhibit and things that you love is so engaging. It's so, it's just fun to listen to. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I had the earthquake by the Iron. I don't know what you're talking about, but
if you don't know who the Iron Sheik is,
I do know that name. That's one of the few names that you said. Could I pick him out? No. If he knocked on my door and tried to sell me a vacuum cleaner and left, I would not know it was him. I have no idea what he looks like.
The greatest thing about the Iron Sheik was, and Ken probably knows it, his partner through all WE was Nikolai Volkov.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I feel like maybe I've heard that name before.
Nikolai, when he was alive, God rest his soul.
Should I have heard of him?
Huh?
Is he a big one? Should I have heard of him?
He's been done quite a bit. He lived about 10 minutes from me.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool to go through all
Pete,
of
you
that.
see Mars? I'm not saying nothing except for Pete. Read that, because we might have had a conversation.
I saw that.
I would buy it.
Yep.
Based on this
You
conversation.
might get a chance to. That's all I'm saying.
No,
I loved it. I don't know what the heck you're talking about for about 80% of that, but it was fun.
Well, I want to. So I'm guessing you have probably at some point met Al Snow also.
I had one of the heads here.
I'm not sure what you even said. I don't know what you said. Al Soul, what?
Al Snow. He's a wrestler. My brother knows him very well. I had one of Al's heads that he personally gave me and signed the forehead somewhere in this house.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you probably have also heard of Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Yeah,
so
OVH
Al
was
Snow,
WWE's AAA affiliate that was heavy running. A lot of the people we worked with went through there. Joey Matthews, who was Joey Mercury up there, he went through OVH out there and did a lot with them up there. Yeah, OVH was good for a while till they opened up the Orlando center, and then they just really didn't have a need for any of that because they could work everything through down there. So
yeah.
Vince, whether you like it or not, Vince is a genius.
Oh yeah, I met Al Snow a couple times while he was doing that because I live pretty close to Louisville, and they'll come down here a lot and do some shows. So
nice.
Al Snow's a cool guy to stand and talk to.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic. He's I've sat many a time. I sat in a room one day. It was I'm trying to remember who I was there. It was Too Cold Scorpio, Al Snow, Balls Mahoney, Axel Rotten, my brother's wrestling partner.
Axel Rotten.
Who else was in there? I think Stevie Richards was there.
Can Axel Rotten be my favorite?
He, Axel had his issues with
Welcome to the jungle.
He had his he had his demons that he had to deal with that he couldn't.
So does
control.
Axl Rose. So there you go.
Yeah, Axel died unfortunately in a bathroom of McDonald's with a pen in his arm,
Oh,
driving my dad's car.
jeez.
Had my father's car, yeah, and
I have learned tonight that I'm way more boring than you. Didn't know that before tonight.
Me
yeah,
too.
it's a shame, when Axel I mean, a lot of people tried to help him through the years. It just didn't work out. But I sat in a room one night with all those guys, just listening to them talk about ECW, and Al Snow was intricate. Tommy Dreamer was there. That's who. Dreamer was there too.
Oh, yeah.
So all those guys talked about, what they did up in ECW was incredible, and the loyal following that they built. I mean, those guys were superstars in their own right, and so it's kind of neat in the whole thing to be, as I tell everybody, I'm a pimple on the bottom of this business. In the big picture, I'm a nobody in that wrestling business, but those guys all treated me like a somebody, and they didn't have to, and I'm grateful for that. I still, I've had a bunch of them reach out to me. I had Ramblin' Rich. He worked as a jobber for WCW back in Nitro days and everything. He was at my house a couple weeks ago, just stopped by to say hello, see how I was doing. Mickey James had reached out to me. She's, prominent now. Mickey's a great country music artist. Mickey used to sleep in my basement of my house, my townhome, when she would come up here with Christian York and Joey Matthews and all those guys when they were coming out, because they were brand new to the business. They didn't have any money, and hotels were expensive. So I let them stay in my townhome and got to know them. And, it was pretty cool to have her reach out to me when I came out of my coma. There was a message from her. Well, and there was a message from Ray Lewis. Yeah.
I was just going to say, good timing where you're at.
Yeah. So Ray Lewis and I spent a whole day together at the Norfolk Naval Station. I was his liaison with the military. And it was fantastic. My boss told me because I'm a diehard Ravens fan. Obviously, you can see behind me, there's a Ravens guy there.
Right.
And my boss said to me, look, you can, do this, but you are not to start engaging with him in full conversation. He's the celebrity fixture there. It's about this. And with the military, I get it. That's the way, there's just proper channels.
Yeah.
But there's always a loophole. And that's what I call lunch. We sat down for lunch. I purposely sat down across from Ray Lewis. And he had conversation, was talking about things. And he said, hey, he's like, you've been here all day with me. You've been kind of quiet. What's your deal? Told him who I was, what I did, how proud I was of what I did. And he says to me, he goes, you like football? I said, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. He goes, I play for the Ravens. You know of the Ravens? I said, yeah. I heard of the Ravens. He goes, you heard a lot? I said, I'm curious about one thing. And he goes, what's that? And my boss, I saw him go like this. And I just looked at him and I went, let me ask you a question, Ray. When LaDainian Tomlinson was running up through the A gap and you crossed over the B gap to get to the A gap to stop him on that run in San Diego to get into the playoffs, how did you know? What premise did they show? What did they tick to show you that they were going to run that sever option play where he was coming up the A gap instead of the B? And Ray Lewis dropped his fork. And looked at me. He's like, you've been sitting here the whole time with all that kind of knowledge. You ain't said nothing. I said, I was told I was keeping my mouth shut. I was like, but you asked me a question, sir, so I'm respectfully answering. And he was great the whole rest of the time. He signed. I had a picture in my car, and I told him I had it because I was driving with him to the airport. I said, yeah. I said, I have this huge picture that I brought. I wanted to show you that it was Ray kneeling over top of Ben Roethlisberger, which is always a beautiful thing. And I pulled it out and I showed it to him. He says, whose is that? I said, oh, I got it for my son. I said, I bought it while we were down here because they were selling them. He goes, let me see that. Pulls out a pen. It's in my basement, hanging on my wall. Awesome. To Preston. Keep hitting them hard.
Love it.
Ben knows.
Well, he reached out to you afterwards too because you showed
here's the greatest thing.
Called me that day.
On my channel, I have a video called My Magical Journey to Return to Disney because I wanted to get back to Disney after losing both of my legs, losing my left hand, and my right hand is severely compromised. I was in a coma for 40 some days. And when I came out of the coma, it took me, I think, about 2 weeks, Jeff. I think it was about the time to get where I was cognate, to where I could actually talk to. They wouldn't even let me have my phone when I came out of the coma because I was a mess. I was on so much medication. So when I got together and got myself together, my wife says, "Hey, there's something on your phone that I want you to see, but I need you to prepare yourself," because I was emotional at the time trying to figure it out.
I would think.
And I posted the video. I actually got to go get it and put it up as a short. Ray Lewis, from his car, Ray Lewis sent me a video message from his car telling me, "Do not give up. I believe in you. You're one of my, I call you friend. I call you brother.
It's amazing.
It was an incredible video. And it was one of the things. There was multiple things. I have a list of things written down in a safe of things that motivated me to get back. One of it was my Disney community and Jeff. One of it was the Ray Lewis thing, my family, things like that. But to have Ray Lewis do that, and then on top of that, I don't know if you can see up behind me here. Maybe if I turn this light on. Let me turn on that light back there. So up behind me, up next to the orange bird up top on that top shelf, that is a helmet from John Harbaugh himself, the coach of the Ravens. John and John's daughter and my daughter played sports against each other since the time they were like 6 all the way through high school. And I used to sit with Harbaugh at basketball games, and I would never talk football with him. I talk family, I talk kids. And one day he even said to me, he's like, "How come you never bother me about football?" I was like, "Because you're here to be with your family. You're not here as a football coach. You're here as a dad. And we're talking stuff." I was like, so the only time I ever asked him something, I said, it was at one of our last tournaments. I said, "Hey, my son Preston," who at that time was like 7, he is a diehard Ravens fan. He's a huge fan. "Would you do me a favor?" I was like, he's too afraid to ask. I was like, "Could he just get a picture with you?" And John said, "Hey, we were inside McDonough Sports Arena." He goes, "Walk me out to my car." He goes, "Because if you walk with me, nobody will, come, because I can say, 'Hey, I'm talking.'" He goes, "And I'll do it right outside my car. That way I can get in the car, and I don't, because if I do it in here, I'm going to have to do it for everybody, and I don't want to be."
Sure.
He didn't want to be disrespectful to anybody. And we did it right outside the car, and he gave Preston a high five. And to this day, Preston still has that picture on his phone of him and John. So when John found out, my daughter's best friend is the head accountant for the Ravens. He went over and told Harbaugh, because he knew I had a relationship with him, about what had happened to me. And when I was in shock trauma's intensive care unit, that helmet came over directly from the Ravens. That is it's an actual game helmet that they gave me. So it's pretty cool. So being a diehard football fan, it's a lot of fun.
That's very cool. Well, I've always been a fan of the Harbaughs, and you haven't told me that whole story. I knew a little bit of that, but that's cool. It's good to know.
It's
awesome. Yeah.
It's always a good thing, So I always root for Jim with Michigan just because of John. And the great thing was, so that game that when Ray stopped LT, okay, that game. Here's a great little story in itself. So that game, my daughter and his daughter, and I'm not going to say her name because I don't put it out there publicly. They played against each other in a high school basketball game. Okay. And they were playing that Friday night, and the Ravens had already left for San Diego because the game was on a Saturday. Right. And I saw her at the game, and I was talking to her for a few minutes, and my daughter Amber came over, gave her a hug and talked. I was like, man, I said, I wish your dad was here. I said, I would have loved to have seen him. She pulled out her phone. She called him real quick. She said, "Hey, John." She said, "Hey, Dad, guess who I'm with here at Catonsville?" And I was able, "Hey, good luck tomorrow." That's like, it was just simple. Wasn't a long conversation. Wasn't like he, started asking me how my taxes were going. It was a very short conversation.
Knowing the kid's probably a pretty good in, though. That's pretty good.
She's fantastic. He's got an amazing daughter, and very talented athletically. And she's just got a great, for being somebody, let's be honest, they're millionaires with what, okay. They're millionaires. They ain't got to talk to anybody. And she treated me as if like we were best friends, and our family's best friends.
I always love hearing that kind of stuff.
They're good people.
You hear too many of the other side of those stories. So I always enjoy hearing that.
Well, that says a lot about John as a parent,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's just, I respect him immensely, and I'm glad he's the Ravens coach. And like I've told many people many times, he could stay there as much as he
One
wants.
of the longest tenured going.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who asked the question. I think it might have been Aaron, but regardless, Ken, he wanted to know if you knew any football players. What about you?
So I met Lamar Jackson when he was in Louisville.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
So in Louisville, they do what's called a card march before every home game. The
Okay.
team will walk through. You basically create a fan long tunnel, and the team will walk through. So I met Lamar twice.
One of my favorite videos of this year was Lamar thinking he was going to be interviewed, but Louisville put him into the Hall of Fame. Did you see that video?
Yeah. Yep.
I teared up. I'm not even a Jackson fan. I mean, he's obviously dynamic. I love watching him, but that was a beautiful video. It seems like a really neat young man.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah, yeah.
I became a
Athletic as
fan. I
heck.
was already a fan on the field, but I'm now a fan of him because he just so respectful and thankful to his coaches and stuff.
He's
Yeah.
been that way here in Baltimore too. And he's very passionate about Louisville and his time there and everything he did.
Boy, he lit it up down there too. My goodness.
Oh yeah.
He was playing Madden.
Yeah, we haven't been the same since he left. We stink now.
Well, he's pretty good. Who else, if anybody?
That's so. I mean, I've met several Louisville players, but names that people would know. That's
Aaron seems to think
About
you've
it.
got a helmet that he wants to trade you.
oh yeah, he wants my Donald Driver helmet.
And I
That's-
know somebody answered for you. I didn't want to ignore you, but I think Santa Dad told you it's Philip Rivers. Not
There
a
you
full size, just a little mini birthday gift from one of my daughters, or Christmas or whatever from one of my daughters.
Well, so this is Donald Driver, and then this mini helmet right above me. This is signed by Chris Jackie and a lineman. I forget who signed the other side.
It's funny you say that, a lineman. I have a Jeff Saturday football. What are the odds, right? He was the center for
Colts.
Yeah, Peyton Manning for years. And I can tell you the story on how he got it, but who cares? But I got to send it out to Steve, Pete. He was a fan. And it's in my garage. I got to find the day.
You got to finally get it out. You'd like my basement, Ken. I've got, with the rookie card, I've got jerseys hanging in my basement. Everyone has a rookie card. I've got Bo Jackson, Jerry Rice. I've got
That Rice rookie's
I
worth
got-
some money.
I got Joe Flacco. I got Brooks Robinson.
You have a Brooks Robinson rookie card?
I do.
58 tops. Beautiful.
I have Cal Ripken's rookie card, but I didn't have his jersey. So I figured a batting practice used World Series bat would work in its place. My dad worked at the stadium for 7 years, and my uncle played basketball with Cal Ripken at his house. I'll never forget the night that he called us and told me, he's like, yeah, I just played at Cal's house. You're not going to believe this. He goes, these two young players that are coming up in the major leagues I think they're going to be pretty good. They were out there playing. He goes, Michael Jordan was there. It's like, I got to play with Jordan. He's like, I was like, wow. And I was impressed because I like Jordan. He's like, I said to him, well,
You and everybody else.
I said, well, who are the baseball players that you think are good? He goes, some guy named Rodriguez and some guy named Jeter. He goes, I don't know who they are. They're brand new rookies coming up, but Cal seems to like them a lot. And I
would
it
know.
was incredible. And I mean, there was people out there all the time.
We need to do a night or show where we just get a couple people on and talk about, I don't know, famous media, whatever this is. I don't know whatever this is. But it's fun. I love hearing people's stories.
Yeah.
It's cool, but we have, our family has every bat from the 83 World Series team, every player.
Remember when we first met?
Except
so strange. This story.
Yeah.
I'll let him tell the story. This is so strange, and then I'll share my little piece.
So we have every bat from the 83 team. My dad started asking the players, hey, can I get your bat? He was saving them, right? And he got Ripken's because my dad, Kelly Ripken was his wife at that time. My dad gave a pin off of his uniform. He was an usher that said, kill the Phils. He gave it to Kelly because only the ushers got it. And in turn, Cal came out. This is how it started. Cal came out and said, here, I just used this in the batting practice at the first game of the World Series. Here's my bat. So my dad started collecting them all. Well, we got the whole team. Eddie Murray's up in my attic, which I'm saving because that's a nice one to have, right? Signed by him. So so that was 83. In 86, one of my dad's sons, who was in high school, who was a pretty good ball player, who was being looked at by the Pittsburgh Pirates, decided to get with three of his buddies and go take batting practice with one of the bats and shattered Disco Dan Ford's bat.
Disco Dan Ford.
And that bat is currently still buried behind the backstop at Catonsville Community College because that's where I put it.
So I might be a sports collector also, and I've owned very few baseball bats, game used baseball bats. A few. Preston Mattingly, not the right Mattingly to have, is a fun story, but I'm not going to share that right now. But one of the very, very few bats I ever owned was of a rando Baltimore Oriole that I was never a fan of, that I never cared about, that I just got as a throw-in on a trade because he had it laying there and it needed to even out the trade, and it was Dan freaking Ford. What are the odds? You don't remember that? You don't. I can tell by your reaction. You don't remember that. So
No.
It was before we knew each other, Pete. You were on a stream and I was on a stream, and you mentioned that, and I told you that, but you didn't.
You got to remember,
weren't connected yet.
You got to remember, since the coma, there's a lot of gray area.
No, but it was we didn't know each other yet moment. I mean, I believe you, but it was also that.
Yeah,
I think
weird.
that is insane.
Yeah, that's insane.
What are the odds? Wish I still had it. You don't it because I don't care about it. But.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff. I mean, my coach there was no travel baseball back then, so my coach that I played for, we played on what was called All-Star Elite, and on my team, Brian Jordan played for the Falcons and for the Braves. Jimmy Crowley, Terry Crowley, which is Terry Crowley's son, that played minor league ball.
Great pinch hitters of all time.
Terry Crowley was. Mark Belanger, his kids were on it. Richie and Robbie Belanger. Jeff Nelson played a little bit with us, who has 2 World Series rings.
One of the best sliders of all time.
Didn't have a slider when he played with me. All he had was a fastball. He developed that when he was with Seattle.
He had a pretty good slider later on.
Oh yeah, Seattle coaches taught him that. It was nasty.
Right.
And in turn he told me about it.
The slider?
The slider. Guess who has it now?
Oh, we talked about this. I remember this.
Yeah. That's where Preston's
slider's hard. I can never get mine.
Yeah.
I was out of playing against actual people before I could make my
Preston
move.
Doesn't even know that's where it came from. Jeff told me about it, and I taught Preston. But the coolest thing was my coach, during that time for the travel team for Cockeysville for 2 years, was Mark Belanger.
Oh, and cool.
Yeah, and we would take batting.
Did he smoke like 14 packs a day?
He did smoke a lot. Yeah, it was bad because he died of cancer. We took batting practice down at the stadium. There's 2 great stories I have about that. So all the players used to come out and teach us from the Orioles organization. They would come out, when they were home on a weekend and work out.
That's when they were really good too. I mean, you're talking early 80s.
We were solid. Rich Dower,
all the pitching. You had all the pitching.
Oh my God, Stan House, Martinez. Oh yeah, they were all out there. So there's 3 great little anecdotes to this. One, first, I went down. One of my pitching sessions got screwed up for me and Richie Belanger. So Mark talked to Elrod, and he just had us come down and do it at the stadium. Richie did his first, got his done. I was a little bit late. I was literally doing my pitching session in an Orioles uniform, no number on my back, with Storm Davis warming up for his game. I finished right before Storm Davis, walked off the field with Elrod, walked around the outside, came around. Elrod stops by the third base dugout. He's signing autographs, telling me, hey, you need to work on this mechanically. This was good. This was not. At the end of it, he turns to me with that big smile. And he goes, hey, go ahead. You want to. So I signed like 20 balls that are worth nothing. And then Elrod's son is now the coach at one of the major private high schools here. And I saw him recently, and I told him the story. He remembered his dad coaching, but he didn't remember me, obviously, because he was not around. The second anecdote from that, which is a great story, is I was at a tournament one day. This was when Preston was like 9, and we had a new kid that they came on the team, and he was over playing third base. And I went over to him before this tournament. I said, look, here's something. You're not stepping in. You're stepping backwards every play, and started showing him a couple mechanical things to try to help him. He goes off the field. I'm out there talking to Preston about stuff. He goes over. I see him talking to his parents. I'm thinking, parents are going to be happy I helped their kid. Parents walk up to me. This is a true story. Excuse me, you a coach on this team? I said, I'm with the military. I don't get to be here all the time, so I help out when I'm here. Yes. Well, they didn't introduce you to me. Sorry. Okay, I'm Pete. That's my son. Well, husband's there. Lady says to me, well, I don't know who you think you are. And I said, excuse me? Something to this effect. She goes, who in the hell gives you the right to start telling my kid how to play third base? We've been teaching him the whole time. He's on this team because his skills are way above or elite, blah, blah, blah. And she goes on for 2 minutes, and I sat there and I took it. And I was like, I'm just trying to help him because mechanically he's doing a couple things wrong that I think he could do better. And she looks at me again, and she grabs her husband by the chest. I forget what his name was. I forget what his name was. And she goes, tell him, who in the hell does he think he is? And she looks at me and she goes, who taught you everything that you know so much about third base? You think you can tell my son? I said, I'm sorry. I said, I thought the guy that taught me knew a little bit about third base. I thought I could share some of that wisdom. I apologize. And I started to walk away. She goes, well, who was it, Mr. Smart Blank? And I said, his name was Robinson. He wore number 5. That's who taught me to play third base. It was Brooks. And she was that's the anecdote. And the third one that's great is
if you don't know, one of the greatest defensive third basemen of all time.
Oh yeah, just incredible. The greatest anecdote happened 3 weeks ago. I don't even know if I told you this yet, Jeff. Preston goes for a workout. He was invited to a private workout at the baseball facility over here in Cockeysville area. And Preston comes running in to me and he goes, Dad, the team's going out there for this workout. They've invited a couple of us. I think I want to go. They're not going to charge me. They just want to do this. I said, okay. I said, just tell me a little bit about it. He goes, blah, blah, blah. He's going into hitting this and that. And he goes, the former shortstop for the Orioles is going to be there. You know who the highest fielding percentage in Major League Baseball ever at shortstop is? He also played for the Oakland Athletics.
I do.
Come on, you got to get it. He's short.
I know this answer.
I don't know. That's why I'm not saying it.
Well, I'm going to make you go find it. I'm not going to yell it out unless somebody puts it in the chat. Anyway,
I don't want to look it up. I want to find it.
I'm going to make you find it.
Keep telling your story. I'll bring
So
it up.
anyway, we're sitting there talking with him, right? And I start bringing up all these people that he knew and knew. And at the end of it, he goes, wow. Nope. Prior to JJ Hardy.
Older than that, yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you his first name, Mike.
Well, that's not
Jeopardy music, Mark says.
dun. I love
He was
Jeopardy.
better than Hardy. 980 fielding percentage.
When did he play? What were we talking, like early 80s?
Late. No. He was 90s.
Oh, Bordick. Oh, okay.
Mike Bordick.
Mike Bordick. Yeah. Not
So
I was going, but Mike Bordick. Okay.
So, so after I told Bordy all those stories and we related to all the things, and he said, I remember, talking with Belanger's kids because he knew both of them. He goes, I remember talking with him about the teams and all that stuff. Next thing I know, because I got that tutelage from Belanger so many years ago and built these relations. There you go. Aaron Rodgers got it. Mike Bordick went over and worked one-on-one with Preston for like 10, 15 minutes.
That's cool.
Usually charges a boatload for doing that. And he did it at no charge and just worked with him for a few minutes. And I thought that was so cool. So it's amazing how things come around.
Mrs. Coach, no problem. We're going to end here in a minute or two. Everybody who's sticking around, I appreciate you sticking around. Mrs. Coach, you have a great night. I appreciate you supporting your hubby so much and being awesome. I'm a fan of you too. And we should probably wrap it. Ken, I kept you way longer than I said I would.
That's okay. This was awesome.
This is
I love the first part of the interview, listening to Ken talk about the creator stuff.
It's been a good show. I feel like, when we do these shows, I want to provide value to whoever comes in, and I want to get to know the people that I have, and I want my audience who comes in to get to know them. And I feel like I got a double whammy tonight. And no, I feel like the audience got a double whammy tonight. Tonight, I always am pretty happy when I have a guest on, but tonight I'm especially happy. I do feel bad that I kept you so long, Ken. I didn't tell you it was going to be 2.5 hours. But outside of that, I've had a blast listening in.
Well, complain to him. He's an hour behind me, just like you are. It's 1:30 in the morning for me.
No, same time. You're same time as me, right, Ken?
No, it's 1:30 here.
Oh, okay.
You guys are crazy. But I love you.
I told
both.
you my normal bedtime's 2, so I'm still 30 minutes ahead of schedule.
Good. That makes me feel a little better because
There you go.
I mean, I've had a blast. I don't know what other people think is good content. All I know is I am insanely blessed with some really neat people in my life because of my YouTube journey. And I hope all you in chat are now too. If you just met Pete tonight, if you just met Ken tonight, I'm a happy guy. One of my I got a note this week that I won't ever probably share with anybody, but it made me so happy. And it was good timing too, because I needed it. And they were just talking about how I introduced someone to them and how much that meant to them and how close they are now. And you never know. You never know what connections happen. One of my favorite chats ever was our other Thursday night co-host, Kelly, when they met somebody from Tennessee, PPP, and they hit it off, and it was because of their military background, and it was just a rando thing. And tonight was kind of a rando thing. And
which, by the way, mentioning him,
Josh, or Kelly,
well, you may want to tomorrow, if you have a little bit of downtime, you want to play something in the background. I put him back in the hot seat tonight, and it was pretty ridiculous.
I didn't get to see. I knew he was on. I didn't get to see.
Oh my God.
We've had a weird week.
They were in rare form.
Really? I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I'm so behind. I'm way behind in your stuff right now. But we had a kind of a rough, weird week. But it's all good now. But we went to dinner tonight unexpectedly just to and yeah, I missed it.
It's been awesome meeting you, dude. I love everything that you were talking about. To sit back as a creator and a person just watching, as I was before Jeff wrangled me to come in. It's great to meet somebody that you can see speaks not only articulately but educationally on the topics that they're talking about.
And with such empathy too, if I could add to what you're saying, like your passion for helping people, it's awesome. It's awesome. And I love it. And if you're still not over there yet, if you're in the chat and you haven't clicked the button to go check him out, Pete says it a little different than I do. Go watch some content and give him that free little, it's free and it's easy and it helps the creator, if nothing else, to feel good. It's kind of a vanity metric. Subscribe to people whose content you appreciate. Yep. It's free and it helps us way more than you think, probably more mentally than anything else. I wish I didn't wake up every morning and look at my number, but I do. And until the number gets closer, to Pete's freaking number now, I will continue to. And so if you're sitting there and you're thinking, man, I didn't know Pete before and I enjoyed this, go hit the button for him and give him some love. Watch some of his stuff. You're going to fall over the content. If you haven't done that for Ken, do the same. Please.
I want to make Ken smile one time before we leave. Ready? Watch this, Ken. Jeff, can you tell me how you feel about Dak Prescott?
He's freaking awesome.
It doesn't matter how it makes you feel.
Sorry, I had to do that.
I do. I mean, I knew. I didn't know, but I knew.
I thought
think
something was
coming. The worst
coming.
thing that you ever did, Pete, was get all that freaking audio.
Oh, I've got more stuff than you know.
How many pieces of audio do you have of me?
Of you?
Because that's creepy.
I cut it down the other day because I had to clean up a couple. I think I'm down to like 15 on you.
You have things that I know are me because I know my voice, but I have no memory of saying ever.
Yeah, I mean, you say ridiculous stuff sometimes,
You're welcome.
Like it looked like I had like buffalo wing juice all over me.
I mean, that sounds like what I would say.
You say stuff, and it happens. So
I mean, I like to spread my rightness. Anyway, Ken, not the show I expected at all, but I hope you had as much fun as I did, and I doubt you did because I had a blast.
This was amazing. It was an honor to meet Pete this way. I've been in a couple of chats and seen you guys chatting, but it was an honor to meet you here this way. This was awesome. And Jeff, absolutely, thanks for having me. It's been 2.5 hours, and it feels like we just started.
No, I'm not the 2.5 hour stream guy. But I love Pete. I'll say it in front of him. Pete's one of my favorite humans. Blessed to know you, buddy. And you're always allowed to crash or whatever this is.
I feel
You are a toy. You are a child's plaything.
Sorry, had to finish with that.
I don't know how I feel about that, but I'll just leave it there. If you're in chat, thanks for hanging with us. If you've been here the whole time, you're crazy. If you've only been here for a little bit, thank you. If you're team replay, if you're hashtag team replay and you stayed till the end, what's wrong with you? But I appreciate it. I'm glad you did. Thank you so much. Please give Ken some love. Please give Pete some love.
Go see Ken.
Have a great week. Do something awesome. If this offends you, I don't care. Pray for Ukraine. They need it. Pray for all of us. Oh my gosh, the world is nuts. When does it go back to normal? Somebody needs to write the book. From murder hornets to World War II.5. May it never be 3. I don't know what's wrong with everybody, but I appreciate sharing a little bit of your life with you tonight. Do something awesome for somebody. Ken, you were going to say?
I think the term now is new normal. It's not normal. It's
new
normal.
Yep.
I haven't seen any normal anywhere in quite
It
some
hasn't been
time.
normal for me since September of 19, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, right. I mean, really, like, whatever. I don't want to go there, but the world is crazy. But we can create comfort and smiles and confidence and all the things. And I hope this show does. I know that's what Ken does on his channel. And Pete, my gosh, you have so much opportunity to go check out Pete's channel. Sometimes up to 10 hours of streaming a day, and I'm not exaggerating. This guy's a machine. It's awesome.
I did what? 4, 5.5, 2.5 on hockey. So I did 8 hours today.
I don't know how you do it, dude. I'm tired. It's only been 2.5 hours.
And I started a TikTok. So Jeff, I really want to make it.
Oh,
There you go.
you could go up to 10 hours now on TikTok. Okay, anyway, that's the early show. So I should probably cut this show up and make it 2 or 3 shows. I might. We'll see. I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys for spending a little time. I mean it. I appreciate it. Give him some love. Gives him some love. You guys stick around for 1 or 2 minutes. I'll keep you afterwards if you're okay. You don't have to go, but you can't stay here. Have fun storming the castle. I will see you soon. Live Thursday night on his channel for NFL Inside the Huddle. I almost called it the wrong thing.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock Eastern. He says, I do a show after that where we're going to talk mostly baseball, and I might be going on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we'll see. Just subscribe and like and share, and I'm going to shut up now. You guys can say bye if you want, because I'm saying bye now.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you all.